Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream or the VOD, depending on when you're watching this. And as you can see, it's ridiculously much earlier than I usually do these. Evidenced by the title, um, which should be popping up on the side. Yep, there it is. I'll be going over. I'm just gonna be chilling, just kind of just doing some random stuff in 14. Um, and also just going over the media tour information that we got today, which is right over here. I have a tab open to every one of the job skits. I have one opened up the ninja because I want to take a look at the traits. Was looking over this earlier. Um, so yeah, keep in mind I never went to the media tour. I'm just going over what we got from the media tour from those who did go. I just kind of giving my own 2 cents and maybe some 2 cents of some friends. If they want to drop by. Don't know if any would though. We'll see how things go. A bit up in the air. Um, just give me one quick second here. Yeah. Yeah. So right now it's just myself. Um, yeah. Sorry, I was just looking over something. Anyways, might as well start with the new kids in the block. Or going to be on the block in about. Okay, I don't think it's picking up my brother. My brother's just making some random noise in the background. In about 22 days if you have early access. If you don't, it's about, let's see here, 26 days. Yes, I did not keep that in my head because I have early access, so I don't. I'll do. Yeah. So, yeah, let's go over this. So, Viper has a lot to it at first glance, but it's actually a simple job when it comes down to its rotation. To oversimplify it, your goal is to keep the Hunter's Instinct, your damage buff, your Swift Scaled, your Haste buff, more or less, or attack speed buff if you want to go by Heaven's Ward's terms, and your Nox. Oh god, I'm gonna mispronounce that. Noxus Gash. Gash. I think I said that correctly, which is another damage buff. So you have 2 damage buffs upkeep. um, right. From what I've seen, these two are just kind of what I'm gonna call, they kind of go into autopilot mode. The Swift Scaled and the Hunter's Instinct both go into autopilot because you'll be alternating between these two to get to these finishers, which you'll need to do. Which, for those who don't know how these works, basically a finisher. First, a finisher will have either a flank or rear positional. There's a bit of an easy way of determining which one is which. Honestly, just looking at this, basically, if you do Hunter Sting, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Hunter Sting, you'll be doing one of the 2 flank positionals. If you're doing Swift Skin Sting, you'll be doing one of the rear positionals. So it's pretty easy to kind of keep in mind. And let me see what the message was about. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, just replying to somebody real quick. So that's kind of easy to keep in mind. But each of them basically have an additional effect that gives an enhancement buff to something. So a good example is, let's look at the bottom. This one, which is the first listed, just by how they have this ordered. Um, Flank Sting Strike grants Hind Stung Venom, which will enhance Hind, which will enhance. Let's see here, which one is it? Flex Bang. Or hold up, Hind Stun Venom of Hind Stun Sting. Yes, Hind Stun Sting, right? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so here it is, blow. All right, yeah. So this will enhance this one's potency by 100, which will then cause you to alternate from your Hunter Sting to your Swift Scan, and then this one will enhance this one's potency, and then this one will enhance this one's potency, and then this will give a buff to enhance this one's potency. So it kind of just goes into that little cycle. So you'll always be alternating between Hunter Sting and Swift Skin Sting. It's always going to be alteration, just altering between the two. Red Mall. Yeah. Yeah, so these two appear to be on autopilot. This one you have to put a little bit more focus on because it works similarly to, and I need to really clear this up. Clear up the set thing. I'll do some when we get. I'll do so later to clear up that gear set list. But this kind of works like Depth's Design. Whoops, wrong button. You put it on a target, and then it increases your damage dealt to that target. So pretty simple, pretty easy thing to, understand, in my opinion. So having it up is a damage increase. So maintaining it is going to be a pretty good priority. Now luckily it does, luckily you don't have to abruptly stop what you're doing. It seems to do Dread Fangs. Instead you could do Dread Winder here to apply it. So there's two sources of applying it. Also, just to get my personal biases out of the way, I do think it's better designed than Depth's Design and how it operates, because Depth's Design you have to do a random DCD that doesn't do anything combo wise. It just puts the buff up, and maybe does it generate gauge? Okay, it does if the target dies. So outside of giving or extending Depth's Design, it really kind of, yeah, Depth's Design kind of feels weird in Reaper's Kit. It does bog down personal enjoyment for me, but this one does seem like it's better designed out of the gate, because this one is pretty much one of your two alternative combo starters, because you could either do this to start the 1-2-3 combo chain into this, and then either the two stings, and then either one of your two, and then either a fang or a strike skill afterwards, depending on which one you followed up, which sting you did second, or which one you did. This one, as you can see right there, is an alternative combo starter, so it keeps the ball moving, which is pretty good. This is also another way to keep the ball moving because it applies it, and it also grants you a rattling coil up to a maximum of 3. That is used for that ability right there. We'll go over it here in a second. But then you also have the fact that it leads up into these two, Hunter's Coil and Swift Scan Coil, which when executed will allow you to do Twin Fang Bite, and I think it's Twin Blood Bite. Yep, Twin Blood Bite. The ordering will be different, like for this one. Let me do a quick reading here to make sure I'm getting this right. Okay, yeah, so this one will be, this one you want to do this one first, and then it will grant the buff needed to do this one, and then this one is Twin Blood into Twin Fang. So yeah, the order slightly changes, but they also apply your main buff, which once again makes it a bit more of an autopilot buff in my opinion. Just makes maintaining stuff easier. This grants a rattling. This right here is just a personal thing. Grants a rattling coil and a ready to reawaken. I'll go over this thing here in a second. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sorry if I'm jumping around. I'm doing this live, so I'm probably gonna be jumping around a lot all over the place. Apologies in advance. Um, yeah, there's one of my friends doing something on Steam. Probably should have logged out of that actually. Whatever. Whatever. But yeah, after finishing a combo though, Serpent's Tail will turn into Death Rattle for single target. It turns into something else for AoE, which let me see if I can find it around here. Yeah, here it is. Last Leash, Last Slash. Yeah, which is, as you can see, a chunk of potency. Anyways, getting back on track, now we go to the Uncoiled Fury. This does not generate gauge, but what it does do is it does do 500 potency as a pretty long recast timer without the haste buff, or the attack speed buff, whatever you want to call it. And then you have post for Twin Fang, so it increases your Uncoiled Twin Fang by 100 potency, and then that gives you a buff that will buff Uncoiled Twin Blood, which is, yeah. So basically this thing plus its OGCDs total for about 900 potency. We'll have to see if that ends up being worth not doing a 1-2-3 combo for gauge or doing. Hold up, do these generate gauge? Oh yes, they did. They generate like 5 gauge. 5 gauge. So yeah, or doing these for gauge. Then we have Reawaken, which I was expecting to be an ability, but clearly I didn't pay attention to the live letter when they went over Viper there, because yeah, it's a weapon skill and it does 600 potency to all nearby targets near you when unused, and it grants Acumen tribute. I think I said that first part right. Hopefully I did. Beats me if I did. But yeah, which it's pretty much the Shroud window if you're used to Reaper. But operates a little bit differently. Basically, you want to go in order of the generations and then end it with Ouroboros here. So you do Reawaken, first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation, and then you do Ouroboros. Keep in mind that after every generation, you will have to do a legacy skill ability right here, which is an OGCD follow-up. It costs 50 of the Serpent's Offering gauge, which is a significant deal, because, yeah, I don't really, yeah, so it'll take you a while to get the gauge. It seems like it will take a bit to get the gauge for that. Another thing about, if I can go back here, is this is mostly a note while leveling, and that's the fact that it seems like when you first get reawakened, because if I'll do that real quick, yes, I know I got ad blocker disabled, no, I do not care right now. Yeah, as you can see here, you get a trait that gets you the gauge, and then later on you get the 5th one, which gives you Ouroboros, and then even later on, you get the legacies. So it seems like when you're leveling, when you get to level 90, until you get to 96 is going to be only 1st to 4th, and then until you get to 100, it's going to be, you're not going to have these OGCDs, which may affect the job of leveling. I hope it doesn't affect it too much, but we'll see. We'll see. Also, for those who want to know what that purple box thing is for. Apparently, it's for game escapes thing, basically telling you that's an unassigned action, which I guess is good. Yeah. AoE is more or less the same thing, uh, um, except that's AoE. So you got Dread. So you have a basic steel one and a Dread one. A little bit less of a potency gap compared to the single target ones. And then you have, Hunter's Bite, and then Jagged Maw, and Swiftskin's Bite, which are the variation of the stings, the Hunter's Sting and Swiftskin's Sting. And then you have the two Maw abilities, which then go into their own ODCD afterwards. And yeah, really not much I can talk about. It looks like, from what I've seen gameplay-wise, it looks interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to trying it out. I'm probably going to level it as the first job I leveled after finishing leveling Samurai through the MSQ, because I will be doing that. Which I'll give my opinions on Samurai once the Samurai changes, once I'm done with talking about Pictomancer here in a second. But yeah. Anyways, let me close this, and on to Pictomancer, way over here. So, Pictomancer, oh boy. Yeah, there's a bit to it, but yeah, let's get over here. Let's start off with the first part of it, which is the Fire in Red, Arrow in Green, and Water in Blue is basically a 1-2-3 spell combo, if you will, that ends off with you gaining a charge for, where is it here, let me see if I can find it here. But this is the problem with how they've decided to order this, is that I don't know where I need it. Here it is, Holy and White, yeah. Which is basically an action you can use after gaining Hyper Phaetasa? Yeah, Hyper Phaetasa, thanks I said. You also, upon finishing a combo, generate 5 pallet gauge. Or 25 pallet gauge, not 5. That'd be ridiculously slow if it was 5. Which, if I can find the ability that consumes it here. Not obvious, I did not look over this one as much as I did Viper. I think it's this one? No, that's just... Okay, here it is, right here. Yeah, so, Subtractive Palette grants 3 stacks of Subtractive Palette, also grants Monochrome Tones, and Monochrome Tones effect converts 1 stack of white paint into black paint, which is what you use to execute Holy and White here. It costs 50 gauge. Of course, you won't have the Holy and White effect until level 80, or... No, scratch that, level 90. Well, takes a while. But yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, so basically, Fire in Red, Arrow in Green, and Water in Blue will become... Where is... Okay, here it is, right here. Yeah, so Blizzard and Cyan, and then that base Stone and Yellow, and Thunder and Magenta. So basically a dark variation that takes longer to cast, but does significantly more damage. Doesn't grant you any palette gauge, but does grant you white paint. Yeah. And then basically these are insta-cast spells. Holy and White is an insta-cast that just does unaspected damage to target and any nearby enemies. 480 potency. Incumbent in black that appears to have a rough 1 second longer GCD. Does the same for 300 more potency. Yeah. And that's more or less the basic part of that whole rotational part right there, because yeah, you do have an AoE variation of that, of what I just went through. Actually, while I'm here, I'm here. I'm gonna look for something real quick. 92, 90, 98. No, that's not it. Cause something here grants. Okay, here it is, Rainbow Bright. Okay. Okay, found it. Okay, I was wondering what granted Rainbow Bright. Or Rainbow Drip. Or grant you to use this effect. Okay, nice to know. Right. Hold up. What does no stasis? Yeah. Yeah, sorry. I'm taking this time to also kind of go over, read some job things. Uh, okay, hold up. Inspiration. Reduce the cast time and recast time of Star Prism. And Tune spells by 25%. When old sacks are. Okay. So that's probably what it's for. Okay. Um, yeah, anyways, on to the next thing here, which is the other part of the whole kit, which is the motifs. So, Living Muse, render your depictions to creatures alive. So this is for the creature motif, which will change. So let's go through each of these one by one. So first you'll start off with Palm. Well, keep in mind this is the cast time well out of combat. Um, but yeah, it'll be an insta cast and also have a shorter GCD while these motifs will while out of combat. But yeah, when you've painted a Palm motif, it will then be on the Living Musing thing here, which will allow you to then cast it as an insta cast spell. In this case, Palm Muse, which will deal a potency of 1000. That is a lot. Additional, and then it has a depiction of a palm on the creature canvas. That is used for something a little bit here. I'm actually going to use a visual example here of yeah. So that's what it will look like on the creature canvas, which is that part. I know I haven't really been showing off gauges, but I might as well take a quick advantage. And no, that's not the right one. There it is. Um, yeah, and then you do the same. You cast a wing motif, and then you have that do some damage. 1000. That seems to be. Is that all? Do all the motifs do 1000 potency, or is it just a slut? Or do they vary in potency? Also, by the way, when you have, yeah, adds depiction of wings to the creature canvas. Also paints a Mughal portrait when depiction of palm and wing are rendered onto the creature canvas. So that allows you to do Mog of the Ages right there. And then while I'm looking around here, 1000. Okay, so 1000. Okay, so they're all 1000 potency. Okay, so all of them do 1000 potency. So then the next two up for motifs are Claw and Fang. And once you have a palm, wing, claw, and fangs, you get to do Retribution of Medan, which is a 1300 potency. It's a cast spell. Yep. You also um, have this, which I'll go over that later. Actually, don't want to kind of. Yeah. The next up is the weapon motif, which the only thing we got right now is a hammer. This gives you access to Hammer Stamp, which does the first set, which is basically a critical direct hit with fall off damage. yeah. But after doing that, can only be executed in combat. One hammer is painted on. Yeah, but another thing you got access to is appears to be this striking muse, which is renders the mighty hammer. Okay, okay, so that's basically. Wait, why is that before? Why is this before this though? You know, whatever. It's on my website. Whatever. That's how they. Okay, that's what we're dealing with here. Yeah, so this grants you 3 stacks of hammer time, which allows you to do that. Later on, let me see if I can find them. Because I know you should be showed this off the live letter. Yeah, so here they are. So once you do hammer stamp, it will turn into hammer bash, and then polishing hammer, which are basically more stronger versions of each other. The last one you have is the landscape motif, which allows you to paint a starry sky, which allows you to do this massive text box of an ability. Which, to try and break it down, 5% damage buff for you, for yourself and allies, and range, and the radius, for 20 seconds. Grants subtractive spectrum for 30 seconds. Grants inspiration and 5 stacks of hyperphasia. Stacks of hyperphasia are consumed upon casting a spell. Duration 30 seconds. Inspiration effect reduced the cast time and recast timer of Star Prism and Aetherhue spells by 25% while standing within the bounds of Magic Lake Landscape. Effect expires when hyperphasia are consumed. Additional effect grants Rainbow Bright upon assuming all 5 stacks of hyperphasia. Duration 30 seconds. Rainbow Bright's effect allows you to use basically Rainbow Drip immediately and recast timer. It has a recast timer. Reduced recast timer. Additional effect grants Starstruck. And Starstruck allows you to use Star Prism, which is, I'm assuming, a fault, which is, yeah, so I see what they're trying to do here. So you use subtractive, so yeah, so while you're subtractive palette, your these spells, the dark colored spells, or the subtractive palette spells, have a reduced cast time, so you do Blizzard, Stone, and Thunder, or Cyan, Yellow, and Magenta a few times until you have no more stacks of hyperphasia. Follow that up with a Rainbow Drip, and then that will then grant you. Yep, and then you'll also have Starstruck to do, which will be, that's right, which will be Star Prism. Or you'll do Star Prism into Rainbow Drip, either or. Now as for this ability over here, this appears to be a self-sustain tool. Pretty much every 2 minutes you can put a barrier on yourself equivalent to max 20% of your maximum HP with a 10-second duration. Its recast timer is reduced by 60 seconds when the barrier is completely consumed, so timing this well with high damage will be probably good. That's probably what you want to do. If you know you're about to take damage that would normally do like 20% of your health or more as damage, then putting this on yourself would be a good way to not only prevent that damage, but also shoot yourself. Or you could do the alternative option. Which is this. So while you're under the effect of Tempera Coat, you'll have Tempera Gracia, or yeah, I think that's how you say it, Gracia. Basically, it will create a barrier. Basically, it takes that barrier, and what I'm understanding what it does is that it pretty much takes it and just basically spreads it to the rest of your party members for 10 seconds, and then reduces it cooldown timer by 30 seconds when the barrier is completely absorbed. Now I do have some questions, like what oh, sorry. Okay. Don't know if I accidentally clicked something there or not, but whatever. Hmm. So does it just give a party percent 10%? Or does it... Hold up. No. Okay, here we go. This is what he talks about.
All the canvases. As the final little touch to this job, it also has a gap close called Smudge, which doesn't have stacks, but it's on a 20-second cooldown. It's a dash forward like on Avant, and it also increases your movement speed for 5 seconds. You also have Tempura Coat, a 2-minute cooldown self-shield for 10 seconds. And at level 88, you can choose to use Tempura Grassa, which halves the potency of the shield, but it applies to you and your entire party instead. And if the shield is absorbed, it reduces the cooldown of Tempura Coat by 30.
Okay. So what it sounds like is that it may be a case of, oh, well, once you use the single target version, you could go for the AoE instead, but if you use the AoE, it may not reduce the recast timer as much, question mark? That is definitely something we're gonna have to wait and see how that turns out, when we get our hands on it. Yeah. As for my overall opinions of the job, look interesting, looks like it could be a fun time. Honestly, look forward to both jobs. But yeah. But now since we went through the new ones, or gave my 2 cents on the new ones, let's start off with my main here, Samurai. Not receiving much changes. Hakikaze is getting an up, or yeah, Hake's. God, no, I never question myself how you're supposed to pronounce Sesko. I'm confident like 90% pronunciations for most of these things, like Yukikaze, Gekko, Jimbu, Kasha, and Sifu. I never question my pronunciation of that one. Well, whatever, it's not going to matter much. Let's go into the next expansion. It's getting upgraded! Yay! 40 potency increase. And new and slightly cooler animation. Let's go. Another change is that Shinny, our 2-minute, 80, 860 potency, 25 gauge bender, will be going down from 2 minutes to 120-second recast timer to good old 60 seconds. And so is Garen by proxy, which is pretty nice. Means we'll be using those more often. There's one change they made, which is that now, no, it's not Madari, there it is, Mekio Sushi. Mekio Sushi will now grant Tabana Gaishi ready, so we'll probably have to make an adjustment to the rotation. If you want my personal guess what it will be, let me put up gauge here. I have a feeling it'll probably be a case of while we're in the middle of doing our basic, like, filler rotation while waiting for stuff to come off cooldown, as you do, what we might end up doing something along the lines of this, where in between our GCD, we just basically just prep Makio Sushi right before the GCD, that we use Madari to get the effect, to basically make sure that, you know, we end up Tabana Gaishin the Madari. It will also, at a later level, I think it's level 100, but yeah. Yeah, basically, yeah, level 100 will get Tendo. And what that'll do is that that'll pretty much be the buff that will buff Madara into Tendo Sesugasa and Tendo Kishi Sesugasa. These are pretty much stronger Madari, guarantee crit, but 1020 potency instead of the 700 potency, which yes, evidenced by Way of the Samurai 3. They're getting potency buffed, so is Jimpu, which will be, yeah, so Jimpu and Shufu will be getting 40 potency buff, and Hingabana will be going from its current amount, which is 45 for his damage over time to a 50. Kasha and Yukikaze, um, yeah, Kasha, Yukikaze, and Gekka will all be getting a 60 potency buff from what it looks like, which is pretty big. And then Shoha is also getting a potency buff from 560 to good old 640. So, yeah, that's an 8 potency buff there. And then Namigiri is getting a 40 potency buff, and Madari is just getting a 61. But that one is not really going to matter in the burst window because of this thing. But yeah. Another thing we're getting next expansion is an upgraded third eye, and the level 80 to 90 range too, which I will take. I will take an early upgrade to third eye like that. Um, yeah, so it does the same thing as current, except now it will grant Textun basically the foresight buff, which when it expires will heal us for 500 potency. That's pretty good. I'll take that. Next one is Iki Shoten. Iki Shoten is still in the 2-minute window, as you can see here. Still grants 50 gauge, still has Okinamagiri ready, but now it has Zenshin ready, which we can do the new action change system, which basically allows you to change some of the actions on your bar to automatically change to certain other actions. And this is one example, which is Iki Shoten to Zenshin, which is a 900 potency 50 gauge bender, which is, yeah. Look forward to using that one. Looks cool. Yeah, it's just a pretty cool one. Then we also have Shoha, which is, yeah, that's just the new Shoha moving forward. We have no more. Shoha 2 does not exist. Shoha 1 and Shoha 2 are getting mashed into the same. Hello there, Hiccup. It's getting mashed into the same button, and it's going to be online AoE moving forward. That is the change for Shoha. Also, we can no longer Tabana Geishi, the Hangabana. That one I think is a lesser loss because no offense to Kishi Hangabana, but its use cases were very limited. Like really, really limited. It just did not see much use at all. If not, like, to give you an idea, its one potential use case would have been to reapply Hangabana to a mob if you had something where like you're fighting 2 mobs at the same time and you know the fight was going to take a while. Do something like that might have been worth it, but hard to tell because Madari doesn't guarantee. Hello, Flurfy. Hello, friend. But yeah, me saying hello to a friend aside. Also, how you doing, Fluffy? Um, I'm doing good. I'll say I'm doing good. I've been looking over Mediator information and just kind of chilling, and I'm excited for the 2 new jobs. Looking forward to trying them out. I'm currently talking about my main job right now, Samurai's changes. But yeah. Uh, but yeah. The other. Yep. Oh, nice. Yeah. If I'm free around that time, I'll definitely make sure to drop by. Maybe even raid you while I'm at it too, because why not? Yeah, but we'll see. Depends if I end up kind of deciding to say, as much as I'd like to make more progress on 10. Um, yeah. Yep, the embargo lifted, so now we know what stuff does. Um, yeah. Well, I'm still on the samurai topic here because I am going to take a quick time to show Farfi the summoner changes, which aren't much, but there are some summoner changes. Um, Another little note I'll leave for personal for samurai. The new Tabana Gaishi change is going to mess with muscle memory, and there is probably going to be a slight change in the ordering of stuff because how we do it right now is that we usually do when we're going from our 1 minute burst window into the 2 minute burst window, we do Madari, which is our 3 cent gauge ability, into and then in between the weave of Madari and Tabata Gaishi, we do Miki Mekio Shushi. But now we're probably going to do Mekio Shushi right before that. Do I think it'll be a big effect on the rotation? Probably not. The only one I am honestly worried about is the 2 minute window, and that's because we have 2 more GCDs in the form of Ogi Namagiri, but we'll see how this plays out in practice next expansion. Anyways, I did mention I'll bring up Summoner, so let me see. Okay, here we go. So, Summoner, not a lot of changes, but there are some. First things first, we'll see this a few times with some jobs. Basically, some jobs have gotten a thing where when they use their power utility buff, they are granted another buff, which or granted a buff that allows them to use an action that is that's for damage that they can use right after using a party utility. Also, the ability right above it is a upgrade of Fester, wanted by slight animation upgrade plus 100 extra potency, so nothing too much. How the Solar Bahamut thing's gonna work from PS, can you send me screenshots of your character? Okay. Yeah, I'll make sure to get around to doing that. Yeah. But yeah, when it comes to the whole Solar Bahamut thing, how it's gonna work is basically Solar Bahamut is gonna be your first summon, and then it's gonna go to Demi Bahamut, back into Solar, and then Demi Phoenix, and then it's going to basically loop from there. So Solar Bahamut is basically now going to be your new summon, Demi summon that you use on your 2 minute burst window. Um, but yeah, going through the new Solar Bahamut stuff, since that's pretty much where the bulk of this new additions are. Um, so once summoned, it does Lux Wave automatically. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It'll be up there in the burst or the opener, and then it'll be up for the 2 minutes, and it's pretty much going to be up at every 2 minutes. And then odds are going to be your old pretty much is going to be alternating between Demi and Phoenix for your odd limit bursts. Yeah, pretty much is all they did. Um, it's more just kind of the same. Umbral Impulse is Bahamut's. Let me see if I can find Bahamut here. There it is. There it is. It's his. Oh, hold up. Where's the abilities? Yeah, here we go. Astral Impulse and Umbral Flare is Astral Flare. You also got Sunflare is Death Flare, and Exodus is just Akmorn with some extra potency. That's honestly the best way I can summarize it. It's not really much of a gameplay shift. So if anyone was expecting them to kind of do another rework level gameplay shift for Summoner, that did not happen this expansion. I'll leave that up to what people think individually that's a good or a bad thing. Honestly, it's kind of as someone who casually plays Summoner, it's kind of relaxing to see a job that's one of the jobs in the game that's known to be practically reworked in some capacity every expansion, not get a rework. So it is, yeah, yeah. Monk, on the other hand, rework hammer yet again. Oh boy. Yes, Fluffy is the resident summoner main. uh, we make sure to make her as happy as we can because we don't want to be. Don't want to worry about Bahamut. But yeah, Monk got reworked. Although, weirdly enough, outside of these two things, which I'll go into, these two new buttons, which I'll go to in a second, uh, the GCD rotation seems to be more or less the same. And what I mean by that is, doing that out of habit, basically for every one Dragon Cape you do, you'll still do one Boot Shine. For every one Twin Snake you do, you'll be doing two True Strikes. And for every one Demolish you do, you'll be doing um, pretty much one or three Stat Punches, roughly. Give or take. I think it's more closer to two, but whatever. Its GCD rotation is mostly going to flow the same, although it does have some interesting new additions. So first of all, like Samurai, Monk has gotten some potency buffs on their already existing non-change actions. Phantom Rush looks like it got 200 potency buff, and Rising Phoenix got a potency buff as well. Also, Elixir Field got upgraded to Elixir Burst. But the thing that's kind of the talking point of the town, or the three things that are talking points of the town, or at least I would see as talking points of the town, is Wind Supply, Fire Supply, and 6 Star. And technically Earth Supply, but Earth Supply is mostly basically when you take damage while in Riddle of Earth, you gain Earth Supply, which is a small heal cure potency to yourself and nearby party members. But yeah, so starting with 6 Star, oh boy, did they buff this weapon skill. So right now 6 Star has a bit of a niche use where you use it and then you get a bit of a movement speed buff. It's good for downtime scenarios if they ever happen, from what I understand. But aside from that, you don't usually see it used in the rotation due to its prolonged GCD. So outside the fact that it got a 2 dirty potency buff, it also, at the cost of consuming chakra upon execution, it also increases its potency by 80 for each chakra you have open. Keep in mind, another little quality of life thing they're adding is that while in Brotherhood, it's going to allow you to go up to 10 chakras, which does help out with overcapping, because it is kind of easy to reach cap and then just lose chakra because, yeah, you keep just getting so much extra chakra from Brotherhood. So that's going to be potentially... I'm interested to see how this will affect the rotation. As for these two are follow-up to Riddle of Wind and Riddle of Fire, respectively. Riddle of Wind appears to be a straight line, just 900 potency, massive, just do some damage to anyone within a straight line in front of you, no fall-off damage. Fire's Reply deals damage to all nearby enemies with a potency of 1,300, does have fall-off damage, but it also seems to grant Formless Fist for 30 seconds. Yeah, so those are definitely something you're going to use when you can. Situation. Yeah, Monk is definitely going to be an interesting state going into Dawn Trail.
Hello?
Oh, hello. There's the Bowie.
Sorry, I was out getting dinner. It's my mom's birthday.
Ah, gotcha. Also, convenient timing. I was just about to talk about Dragoon.
I see.
So, damn, that actually works out. We have the Dragoon main and the current FCM I'm in here to talk. Yeah. So, Dragoon, interesting. Yeah, I'm in my yeah, I probably should go on voice active so I don't have to hold out Alt here. Yeah. But yeah, Fluffy, I'm in my free company voice chat right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking to some. Yeah, I got a stream pulled up here. So Yeah. Yeah, so Dragoon got an interesting rework, I would say, or some interesting changes. So first of all, Jira Social, they doubled its cooldown, but made it so that it automatically goes into Life of the Dragon for 20 seconds. They also seem to have just axed Dragon Sight here, and just basically,
Yeah, you get no more pity buff. Oh no.
oh no, I don't get an extra 5% damage buff when I'm in a party with a Dragoon if they bother to put the Dragon Sight buff on me. Whatever shall I do as Samurai?
It's good because it's above the physical damage or person damage.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is definitely is. I think it's like, yeah, it's 15% too. So
Well,
that's,
it's 15% instead of 10 like it was before. So
yeah, so that's a pretty significant buff size. It's also happening every mid-minute, unlike Dragon Sight, which is only applied every 2 minutes. So that's pretty much a 5% damage buff over the course of the fight. Probably more because of how DPS and burst window technically equate to higher DPS output from the buffs or damage gain from the
yeah.
buffs. But yeah. Um, also, Nashtod also received a bit of a change. From what I understand, when you use Gear Social, you get basically three stacks of Nastund ready, and that allows, and basically you could just execute those whenever you want to in your GS Social window or your Life of
Well,
Dragon.
that's a huge change because
Mm-hmm.
it used to be where it's just a 10-second cooldown.
Yep.
So like if you don't hit it immediately, then you potentially lose a cast of it.
Yeah. Um,
So it's nice you can just spam it really quick if you need.
yeah. Another change is Drake's Bane, which is mostly just going to make using, uh, you know, it's just going to make that fifth hit of the combo a bit easier because now you won't have to worry about positionals like right now. But
There's not 3 positionals in a 5-hit combo.
yes. Yeah, that's one of those things where I just look at it and I'm like, you know what? I actually personally don't mind this, like, because the only combo you can get away with not getting three positionals back to back is Heaven's Thrust. But if you're using
Yeah.
Chaotic Spring, that's three positionals back to back to back.
Yeah, during whatever it was, the ultimate we did. It was
Uwu.
horrible. Like half the time. No, the other one.
Oh, Yukop.
Yeah, during UCOP, like there's times where you can't get any positional. It's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like I only have 2 stacks of true north.
Yeah. God, there's sometimes for True North economy, it's just not in your favor, even with the fights. But yeah, Star. Anyways, to get into some of the newer stuff, going in the order that the Gamerscape has it listed. So, from what I understand, when you use Dragonfire Dive, you now get access to a follow-up action in the form of Rise of the Dragon, which is the Nidhogg Uppercut.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a pretty nice thing. The
It also upgrades. I don't know why this thing doesn't say it upgrades, but it upgrades into it. Like
okay,
it replaces it.
okay, yeah, maybe it mentions it on. No, it doesn't. Okay, they should really change it to mention that because whenever most skills they do, like they got to back to Viper here for a second. Like it mentions in Swift skins here that it replaces Dread Fangs
Okay.
when the requirements are met. Yeah, but aside from that, or not True Thrust, but a Vorpal Thrust and Disembowel are both being upgraded. Higher potencies plus cooler animation. I say that's a win in terms of flashiness there for Dragoon.
Yeah.
And then Starcross, which is the follow-up action that you get after using Stardiver. It seems.
What I really like about the changes is that you don't have as many jumps,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but like you're not losing damage. You're not doing as many jumps though, so there's less
Yeah.
animation lock. It looks like,
Yeah. Also,
which is a huge thing. That was so annoying.
yeah, I'm gonna get this off my chest because I was hoping what they would do is make Spine Shatter Dive a pre-evolution to Dragonfire Dive, but it appears they went through the completely removing it route instead. So rip with Spine Shatter
No, we
dies.
still got the Gimped charge.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
it's 2 charges at 60 seconds, but then you look at the Viper, it's 3 charges at 30-second cooldown. It's like wow.
yeah.
so,
I yeah, it's definitely obvious that
so
glide.
stupid.
It's definitely obvious that movement ability is supposed to be a direct replacement for Spine Shatter, which I mean it works that way, but I mean come on, for crying out loud, to go
We
back.
just changed the name in the icon and the effect. Just cut the cooldown.
Yeah, uh, but yeah, yeah, but yeah. Safe to say, Dragoon's identity of weave economy though, because that's one thing I've noticed when I'm just casually playing Dragoons. Like it's a job that's really focused on like managing your weaves properly and trying to make sure you get like everything you can into a burst window. But it
Yeah,
seems,
and you have to do stuff in specific order too.
yeah. So it definitely seems like that identity of Dragoon is definitely going to stay intact, which I think is good. Um,
Yeah, the problem I always had is just the animation locks. Like during
yeah.
P12S, like it was killer. Like especially with the burst windows always being on the stupid mechanic phases.
Oh yeah.
Like, okay, when do I jump? Oh, I can't jump now. I'm gonna die if I jump. Oh wait, buffs are gone.
Yeah. It is. Oh god. Yeah, that is a tangent we can go into about the 2-minute buff alignment with raid mechanics and. Oh god.
So I went rapier because I didn't want to have to try. At that point, I was so bored.
Yeah. Although one thing I'll say, to the annoyance of everyone, including Whoops here, who I have a video pulled up, Life Surge is still in the game, completely unchanged. Why is it still here? I have no idea.
It's so annoying too. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I would. Yeah. Okay. Okay, sorry, it's my mom telling me something real quick. Which I'll take care of here in a second, or here in a bit. But yeah, it's like at this point, I'm gonna be honest. Like, part of me wants to say I would like the old Power Surge back because, fun fact for anyone who don't know, I do like to sometimes use the way back machine to get a look of, and maybe sometimes and also look up old videos on how jobs used to be, just to kind of get an idea how they used to be back then, since 14 doesn't have any private servers of any kind. Um, and one thing I noticed that Power Surge used to be its own separate cooldown, and what it did is that it enhanced the next like one jump and spine shatter you did by
Hmm.
like enhanced their potency by like 50% or something. Part of me wants to say that would be better and more interesting than the guaranteed crit, and a bit of absorb a portion of the damage dealt life surge, but I don't know
Yeah,
really.
I would have preferred they change it into like a self defense or like a defensive or something.
Yeah, I mean, hey, at least you and Reaper players will have something in common when Doncho comes out. You guys having practically like no defensive tools.
No, they have Arcane Crush or Circle. Sorry.
I said Viper,
Oh,
or unless I accidentally said Reaper on stream, which whoopsie daisy on my
I
part.
heard Reaper.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, no, yeah, I was prefer. Yeah, Viper was the one I was going for because Viper doesn't have any defensive tools.
It's
God.
just Viper and Dragoon.
Yeah, Viper and Dragoon are like,
Every other melee has the one.
yeah, yeah. Both of them are like hold my beer, and the beer is the defensive tools, and they just does basically just go jumping in heads first. uh, Either that or the dev teams are just does not want them to have defensive tools, which I don't get. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, Dragoon I can kind of maybe get an argument for with the increased defense, base defensive stat, making you a bit more tankier against physical hits. But even
I
then, like,
guess.
Yeah, I guess maybe, but even then it'll be still nice to have a piece of magic mitigation since most damage, like, unless you're the tanks in a savage race setting, the biggest portion of damage you're taking is usually magic damage. Um,
Yeah.
unless you're the tank, which sometimes you might get slapped with physical damage. Now, keep in mind there are some exceptions to the rule. There are some times where a raid ride is physical damage instead of magical, but a majority of damage that the party takes in a raid is magical damage, not physical. So
Yeah.
I think having something that would reduce, yeah. But it's also just, but at the same time, like Viper also uses scouting gear, which last time I recall doesn't have that defensive
Well,
bonus.
yeah. Well, the Dragoon and Reaper are more like a tank armor.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So I guess that kind of compensates for them having lack of defensive, but Viper is going to next expansion without and scouting gear, so I'm hoping we get maybe something. If not, maybe at the very least, maybe maybe they add a defensive buff or a defensive ability we can use mid expansion for Viper. But I don't know. I'll also have to wait and see how high the damage we're taking, and if having no self defense button is really that much of a
well, a lot of the casters don't have self defense, so
yeah
and healers. So
yeah. I
you
mean
can't make it. It's not survivable if you don't have a defensive.
yeah, pretty much. Um, yeah,
That's what mitigations are for too. So
yeah.
have you done Astra yet?
I have not done Astra, but might as well talk about it right now, since this was brought up, and it'll be
I
the
didn't
last.
look at it when I was at work. I just looked at Dark Knight and Dragoon.
Yeah, Astrologian got a bit of a rework too. So basically, the
Yeah, they always
cards.
do.
Yeah, yeah, that is also fair. They are also one of the few jobs that do get reworks consistently. But now how it works, so the cards are not random. Um, so now they have two abilities called Astral and Umbral Draw. Um, ah, you start off with Astral Draw, and then after using Astral Draw, it will switch into Umbral Draw. Both of them on a 1 minute cooldown. They share a cooldown, of course. And basically, when you use them, they'll grant you 4 cards. Um, a card that will increase damage, a card that will increase that's basically more defensive, either in like reducing damage taken or will, in the case of one of them, increase the amount of healing received, and the other is a healing spell. Either one of them is heal over time, the other one is just a basically a receive a barrier effect type creative effect. Actually, maybe that's
Ooh.
yeah. And then the fourth card they get is either Lord or Lady of Crowns, depending on if it's Astral or Umbral. Astral is you'll get Lord of Crowns. Umbral you'll get Lady of Crowns. Another thing to note is that Astral cards will give you the balance, which is as for anyone who play Astral right now is unchanged pretty much. It is increases damage dealt by a party member or self by 6% if target is a melee or DPS or tank, 3% for all other roles, and the spear has pretty much been reworked to be a range card, pretty much.
An
Um,
almost useless effect.
hmm?
Looks like an almost useless effect.
What is
Sorry, the arrow.
the
I was
arrow?
looking at the arrow. Yeah,
Yeah, the arrow. Um, it's a bit of a niche. Yeah, that one is definitely going to be a bit more of a case of
especially on a single player.
yeah. I can think of one scenario the arrow could be better used, which is more of in the case of, that player's about to take a tank buster, and you'll need to heal them up right afterwards. Throw the arrow on them, and then essential dignity them. Big heal.
Let's be
That's
real. Anytime there's a tank buster, it's usually just involved or tank swap.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it could have its niche scenarios, but it's probably definitely the more useless card out of the six.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely. Also, 3 charges of Essential Dig and D because 2 wasn't enough.
Well, they need to bump up the minimal or the scaling for the max heal.
Yes.
Having to wait till like under 15% is ridiculous.
Yeah. Another thing I want to mention real quick: Lord and Ladies of Crown are unchanged. So, um, yeah. So Lord of Crowns is still damage. Ladies of Crowns is healing. Same potency numbers.
Wow.
Yeah.
They
But
kept mastery as is. Wow.
yeah. But the plus side is that because of how the whole thing with swapping with Astral Draw and Umbral Draw is that you'll always have Astral Draw. You pretty much will have the Astral Draw set of cards during the 2-minute burst window or the opener, and Umbral Draw during the off phases, which has its ups and downs. It is
Melee's the people that matters. It's okay.
yeah. I mean, poor Black Mage, but but yeah. Aside from that, it is yeah. Most of the time, unless you got a case of whoops, wrong thing. Let me click that. Aside from Black Mage, it's most of the time you want to be hitting the melees with a card, ideally. So, yeah. Other changes to their kit, outside the fact that they removed Astrodyne, um, honestly, there doesn't really seem to be much outside of that. I think it was mostly a rework to the card system, to be honest, when looking at their kit.
They should have removed or changed Sinastri. Like, that's useless. I've never used that at all when I've ever healed.
Yeah, I really don't know why that's still the same. But divination is also getting the same treatment um, as whatchamacallit, the summoner's searing light. So basically, after they use it, they'll gain a buff that allows them to use it for a damaging ability called Oracle. 600 potency. Um,
Oh,
neutral
cool.
neutral set will change. Neutral set will give you a buff called Sun Touch, which will allow you to use it for a pretty much reduce damage taken by self and nearby party members by 10% for 15 seconds. Um, and we also have Helios Congesture, which seems to be a Helios upgrade. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure the
Oh, no,
yeah. Let me look through the it's Aspended Helios upgrade. Also, I guess Combust gets a damage over time buff, and so does Fall Malefic. So I got some posty buffs there, but for the most part, it seems to be more or less, outside of how they changed the card system, the same Astrologian as this expansion. I mean, Earthly Star is still there.
we'll need a bit more piety. We can't stay full mana forever.
Oh right, yeah, because they did reduce
There's
the
no Astrodyne.
no Astrodyne. Yeah, so
How
yeah,
much piety do you need? 0.
0 if you're playing Astrologian. Oh yeah, Astrologian's definitely gonna need some piety.
Still best healer.
Yeah. On to Sage, which I'm moving on to Sage here real quick, just to talk about an interesting thing, which I'm going to cover real quick. So Sage has an AoE dot ability that they have to be up close to it, which is a basically when you use where is it? Ekrasa. So when you use Ekrasa on your AoE ability or AoE spell, it will now turn into a dot. This dot not only
What, you
is
dot everybody?
yeah, so you can dot enemies around you. But what's interesting is that this dot is separate from Eureka Dosis. It's separate. They can stack, so you can have both of them up on the target. And it is, at least as of right now in the Mediator build, you do get more potency over, or about,
Well, yeah, it's two dots instead of the one.
yeah, yeah, and it is actually beneficial to actually do keep this dot up.
Oh yeah, for sure. You get lots of passive healing too to the tank.
Oh yeah,
That's a huge change.
oh yeah. But yeah, it is definitely one of those things of it is definitely going to be a pretty huge thing. Um,
Oh, Phlegma 3. Woo!
yep. Yeah. Some other changes here. They're getting a new damage ability. 60-second cooldown. Um, Icray's prognosis is getting buffed, so yay. And then they're getting an ability which will allow them to pretty much give Cardia to everybody in the party for 20 seconds, and also increase healing magic potency by 20% for 20 seconds too. Outside of that, they are practically the same stage from this expansion, from Endwalker.
Looks good though.
Yeah, looks pretty good. Honestly, this was the biggest thing I really wanted them to do, because I feel like that's something that they could really do to expand stages, kind of double down a little bit more on this preset entity. Which, hey, we'll see how far they go long term with Sage in that aspect. Um, to shake things up a bit, let's talk about the physical range here, since we haven't talked about one. Any,
Machinist looks good.
yeah,
I looked at Machinist a little bit.
yeah, Machinist is looking good. Some interesting changes. So first, going over ability upgrades. Blazing Shot here is an upgrade of Heat Blast. Checkmate and Double Check are upgrades of Ricochet and Gush Round, wherever they are. Here. Okay, here's Gush Round. Where the heck? Okay, there's Ricochet. Um, yeah. We also have Excavator, which is usable after using your chainsaw.
Yeah.
And then we got Barrel Stabilizer, which gives us Full Metal Field, which is pretty much Machinists living the American dream with a bunch of missile barrage.
They're looking a lot like ranged samurai
Yeah.
with all the damage.
Yeah, they definitely are. I'm really hoping that's the direction they're trying to push Machinists, because I feel like, because outside of Dismantle and the the other Raid Wide, um, damage reduction ability they have, wherever the heck it is.
Tactician.
Yeah, I'm trying to find Tactician here. Probably missing it. Probably call it. There it is. There it is. No, I was missing it somewhere. Yeah, Tactician. Yeah, but yeah, my whole thing with Tactician before they're given this symbol was that because it doesn't stack with Troubadour or Shield Samba, it kind of feels like a roll action. And by the way, I think the same thing of Troubadour and Shield Samba.
Yeah.
So yeah, I felt like I didn't really feel like they should be really taxed for having this, but having this is an understandable thing because it's something specific to Machinists that the other physical ranges don't have. And on top of that, it stacks with other stuff. So
The wrench is really good.
yes, nice wrench. Yeah, yeah. Similar note to Sage, it seems like mostly just expanding upon current Machinists and just adding and smoothing over stuff.
Hopefully the scaling is okay. Not like last year.
Yeah, God, freaking hell, last year was so bad for Machinists. Um, yeah, I guess we'll talk about Dark Knight, which next, since you mentioned you went over it earlier.
Yes.
So, one thing that reduces button bloat is that Blood Weapon will be pretty much a pre-upgraded form of Delirium next expansion. The only thing I'm really worried about is hoping that it gives 1k MP per weapon skill for every stack of Blood Weapon.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I know great change to reduce button bloat. Also, while under the effect of Delirium, what was it called? Bloodspiller. Yeah, Bloodspiller. Bloodspiller will change into Scarlet Delirium, which will then change into
You get your own cartridge combo, man.
yeah, pretty much. They get their own cartridge combo without, except without the OG cities. You know, no, I say that now, and then next expansion they give us the OG cities. Boy, knowing them, I would not be.
Well, they took away the charge spamming, so that helped quite a bit.
Yeah.
So that was the huge thing. Is like you're doing defensives, and then you're
Yeah,
doing your charge, and then you're also doing your
yeah,
melee,
yeah. That
good
yeah.
GCDs. So
Yeah, that was a great change because, especially for Dark Knights, like they already had more than enough weaves as it is for a tank. I feel like,
well, I remember P8S. It's like, oh my god, I got all my weaves off properly.
and
Because
then
the tank swaps are always on the 2 minutes as well. It's like
yeah,
it's horrible. You
yeah,
got pot, you got your defensives, and you got your fucking those GCDs. It's like
yeah. Oh god,
how
yeah,
how hard do I want to go?
yeah. And then you manage to do everything perfectly, but then you realize you still have a plunge you didn't use.
And Dravs kills us.
I mean, you're not wrong. It happens a good portion of the time. Yeah, Impalement, by the way, is just pretty much upgrade Quietus. Um, and we also have this Steam, which is pretty much a new action we can use after getting access to, or after using Living Shadow, which as you can see right here, grants Scorn, can only be executed while under Scorn. Another
Or meet
change.
up with your homie and blow shit up.
Yeah, another change. It's easier to meet up with your homie as Dark Knight because Dark Knight doesn't have a 50. Living Shadow doesn't cost 50 gauge anymore. It's free.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So it's easier to meet up with the homie and blow stuff up. um, that's actually probably good because that means Dark Knights can be a bit more, let's just say, a lot more gun ho with how they use Blitzpillar. Because before you had to be a bit more kind of thinking of, okay, how long until I have until the 2-minute burst window, and if there was enough, then you use Blitzpillar, but if there wasn't, you didn't use Blitzpillar. Instead, you try to hold it for the 2-minute window, or try to hold gauge for the two
I
minute window.
only ever cared about getting 50 for the 2 minute window. I didn't get 100.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, basically, by the way, you will not be missing out any damage. Living Shadow will be able to use, and
Yeah.
yeah, because that's kind of a thing that kind of divided good players from not as great players is just how you use the blood gauge, and if you save some for Living Shadow or not. That, but yeah,
Disappointed though. There's no self-sustain.
well, yeah, there's no self-sustain in the sense of bloodwetting, um, and whatnot. But there is still Shadow Vigil, which is actually a pretty huge W for the job. Because now, if it's a case of,
What's Shadow Vigil? What was that? Oh,
it's the upgraded of Shadow Wall. Basically, reduce damage taken by 40%, duration
oh,
50.
that's not bad.
Yeah, but it also has grants Vigilant for 20 seconds, which pretty much
To
XCOG.
heal. Yeah.
It's pretty much XCOG. Either when you fall below 50% or when it expires, you get a 1,200 potency heal for
Okay,
yourself.
that's not too bad.
Yeah, yeah,
It's no warrior or paladin healing, but that's fine.
yeah. It's definitely something that's a big W for Dark Knight, and we take those Ws. We take Ws.
Still no critical guard damage reduction.
Yeah.
Oh yes, we're doing critical guards this expansion. Every tank's gonna have one, except for Dark Knight.
I have no idea what that's a reference to, but
Well, if you look at the warrior short-term cooldown,
hmm.
like the short-term damage reduction,
Let's see.
what's it called? Bloodwetting.
Okay, yeah, let me find it here. Bloodwetting. There it says. Oh yeah, that effect, right?
You get the 15% for like 3 seconds or something. It's a
Yeah.
critical guard.
All right. Yeah.
So all the other tanks have that except for Dark Knight.
Yeah. In return, Dark Knight gets the Blackest Night, which, depending on who you are, I'm honestly, that is, the Blackest Night is so weird. On one hand, it costs 3k MP, and unless you're able to get Dark Arts to pop, it's usually not worth its value in damage. But at the same time, it's also like, we're talking about what is arguably one of the best defensive mitigations in the whole game. Literally, you throw it on anyone and they get a shield equivalent to 25% of their maximum HP for like 7 seconds.
It's annoying to use when you're tanking, though. Like if you're
Yeah,
main tanking,
yeah,
because you have to time it just right for it to actually work. Like Bloodwood, you can just pop and you get healing.
yeah,
The Blackest Night, if you pop it too late, like the boss swings when you pop it,
yeah,
he only swings like 2 or 3 times sometimes.
yeah,
So if you miss one of the attacks, you're not going to pop your Darkest Night. He just goes into a mechanic and it falls off. It's so bad.
yeah. I was about to make a suggestion. I feel like maybe upping the duration to 10 seconds might help with that problem a little bit.
Well, it's not duration. It's like on P6, like he
Hmm.
casts a lot.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like he'd attack you once or twice and then like go into another cast. So
Yeah. I
I find
definitely.
that happening a lot.
Yeah. I feel like one thing the devs might be intending the Blackest Night to be used for is kind of tank busters. To use it to help mitigate tank busters and to hopefully have it pop during a tank buster so you get, the free Edge of Shadow so you don't miss out any damage during potential burst window, but
Hmm.
that's kind of speculation. I don't know if that is their intention. Aside from that, it looks like Dark Knight is another more or less the same. You enjoy it Endwalker, you'll enjoy it in Dawn Trail. Um, yeah. Which one to cover next? Let's see here. We've had way too many, more or less the same ones in a row. Let's see here. Who else got a decent amount of changes this expansion? Who got a decent amount of changes this expansion? Um, I think Ninja got a decent amount of changes. It had a decent shakeup this expansion from its usual gameplay. Mm. Yeah, right, because Ninja had the whole Huton thing, making it a trait, and also making Huton just basically AoE sweeten. Um,
Mhm.
there's the new gauge mechanic, which, to give a simplification how that works, basically, use your Armor Crush finisher, you're granted 2 stacks of Kazimoti. It basically shows up as this kunai gauge with like 5 of them at most. And pretty much what they do is when you use an Elonian Edge, the rear combo finisher, it does an additional 60 potency on top of its normal amount.
Okay.
Yeah, bit of a simple mechanic. There seems to be some ability upgrades like
So is there a point to using the other finisher now?
yeah, armor.
Oh, it might be more potency.
Yeah, it's more base
Uh,
potency. It's more base potency. Armor Crush has 20 more base potency. But usually there was a point before Ninja. I don't have it on this character, but like before you used it to kind of keep up Huton, unless the new ability that just granted you Huton just replaced that role entirely, which beats me if it did. I didn't really look at anything for Ninja in terms of how you did the
four
rotation.
because it'd be a huge damage loss. So
Hmm? Will it be a huge damage loss?
well, before you'd have the thing that gives you the haste buff.
Oh yeah.
You never wanted to use that before.
Alright. Yeah, I think it was only usable like pre-level 90 content, but once you kind of got into level 90 raids, you had the
Yeah,
pumps.
you only used it for recovery, really.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Uh, yeah, looks like they removed it, which is a good riddance, honestly. Won't be missed. Dokimori is level 66. Pretty much it's the new upgrade of Mug. Does literally everything Mug does and grants Hagi for 30 seconds, which, what the heck does... Oh, right, yeah, allows you to use an enhanced version of Mepo and the Hellfrog ability. Let's see here. You also have Mishi, which once again you probably want to use those two. Ninja got a new finisher when using Tenji Jin called Chinro Jindu, 1000 potency. Um, and then there's also Kunai's Bane, which is pretty much the upgraded for trick attack. You still need to be hidden or have the newly named Shadow Walker effect to execute it, but it's pretty much 600 potency. It's trick attack, but it's now AoE. No
Cool.
positional nonsense anymore. But yeah, honestly, we'll see if this is the case, the expansion after Dantra, but I was definitely expecting a little bit more inclusion of the Q9 gauge, but aside from that, looking interesting for
It's
the...
just another buff to manage, really.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
Just make sure you
pretty much,
armor crush every other thing, I guess.
yeah, basically Armor Crush, and then you do 2 Alonian's Edge, and then Armor Crush, 2 Alonian's Edge, Armor Crush, 2 Alonian's
Yeah.
Edge type situation. Now we already went through Viper at the start of it. I guess since we're almost done with the melees, we might as well finish up with Reaper before I have to do that thing my mom told me about. Reaper. Honestly, not too much to say. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this with Machinist, but Barrel Stabilizer, and we'll see this with some other stuff later in the stream, grants Hypercharged. Pretty much allows you to use Hypercharge for free. Reaper
Yeah.
has a
We're
similar...
going away from resource get granting stuff.
Yeah.
So the granting resources just gets you the thing that the resource would give you.
Yep. And Plentiful Harvest will work pretty much the same way. Viper's Serpent's Ire works in a similar way with Reawakening, so pretty good to have as a whole. As for other changes, when you use Enshroud, you'll now have Sacrificium, 500 potency ability. You can just use like that. Also, at later levels, you'll get whatchamacallit. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. Gluttony. We'll get an upgrade that will grant you 2 stacks of Executioner, which will pretty much, instead of using normal Gallows and Gibbet, you use Executioner's Gibbet and Executioner's Gallow instead.
Yes.
Still,
Just more powerful, really. Different animation, probably.
Yeah. We also have Guillotine too, which, yeah. Then, another change is that when you use Plentiful Harvest, you gain Perfectio Oculet, which pretty much makes it so that after you're done using Communio, you use Perfectio, a weapon skill that does 1,200 potency. Yeah. Which, from what it looks like, it was pretty much that big finisher we saw at the very end of the job action trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another change, where is the button? Where's the button? I'm looking for a specific ability here, a certain spell. Am I just glossing over it? Oh yeah, I was. Harp now generates soul gauge, which is less of a sting when you have to go away for downtime.
That was so horrible. It's always so bad.
Yes. Honestly, yeah.
That's a huge change, really.
Yeah. Aside from that, I've said it a few times with some of the jobs. If you like the Endwalker version, you're going to probably like the Dawntrail version. It is more or less the same with some nice new additions and quality of life adjustments. Yeah, personally, Reaper is kind of one of those jobs that I play more casually. I don't find the most fun, obvious by the fact that I don't main it. But, I do like to occasionally have some casual fun on it. Yeah. Anyways, I'll be going BRB real quick. When I'm back, I guess we'll talk about one of the other tanks real quick, since we only covered one tank. And then, yeah.
Cool.
Yep, so BRB. Alrighty, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Which tank shall we talk about next? Um, you know, let's do the two that got their gap closers altered. Gunbreaker and Gunbreaker. Good old fashioned Gunbreaker here. Or the second one that got his gap closers altered. Um, so Gunbreaker changes here. Um, well, first things first is, and we'll see some more change with Paladin, is uh, now you need to execute No Mercy in order to do Sonic Break. That's a change. Um, there's also the change with the gap closer, as I mentioned, removing the damage and just making it a rush to enemy's location, targeted enemy's location. Um, let's see here. Fated Circle has a continuation combo now called Fated Brand.
Oh.
So that's pretty nice. Great Nebula is their version of, is pretty much the 30% mitigation upgrade, goes to 40%. Something we'll see for all four of the tanks, by the way, is that that 30% mitigation is upgrade to 40. But Gunbreaker's additional effect is increases maximum HP by 20% and restores the amount restore the amounts increased. So basically, they increase their max HP by 20, and they restore that amount as well. So, and that's for 15 seconds. So, interesting. Definitely an interesting mitigation there. But now, we get to the probably the interesting part for Gunbreakers. Their 2-minute level, their which is the Bloodfest. So first of all, Bloodfest does still grant three cartridges when you use it. But now it also grants Ready to Rain, which allows you to use your level 100 Capstone ability, which is a 1-2-3 combo going to Rain and Beast, Noble Blood, and then finally Lionheart. Overall, I mean, Gunbreaker's just being Gunbreaker here.
Yeah. Just being a DPS.
Yeah, it's pretty much just being a DPS tank. There's of course good old-fashioned pouncy buffs across the board for Gunbreaker. But you know that can be said about any job going into this expansion. You know, a lot of jobs are getting bouncy buffs and adjustments. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this gets all fit into the 20-second. Yeah, 20-second now. Yeah, the 20-second No Mercy window. Which
We increased it a bit, right?
no, it's still 20-second. It was yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely tough. Honestly, my prediction is that we're going to see Gunbreakers do like double down, and aside from that, we're probably going to see some Gunbreakers skip like the Gashing Fang combo potentially in favor of doing the Lionheart combo. Because yeah,
Well, I know originally there's lots of GCDs in the 20 seconds, so it's probably gonna be no GCDs.
yeah,
It's gonna be a lot more picky when you set it up.
yeah. Um, yeah, it looks like Gashing Fang might be more or less this. Well, actually, no. Gashing Fang got a bit of a potency buff, but it's also like actually, maybe. The thing about the Lionheart combo is that it does a lot of potency, but it's all GCDs, not OGCDs. So,
Yeah, but there was a lot of like 1, 2, 3 in the
oh
buff
right,
window usually.
yeah. There's usually
So it's probably no 1, 2, 3s.
yeah, probably that. And we're just
Or
gonna
very few.
yeah, we're probably gonna see that, and then we're gonna see like people No Mercy and just Yeah, we actually might just see Gunbreakers just basically hit the ground running pretty much. Just the moment they pull the boss, burst. And they just.
Well, especially in the first burst window, there's not a lot of, there is a lot of the like
Yeah.
base combo. So
Uh, Hi Mochi, and no, I covered Samurai earlier. I'm currently going over Gunbreaker.
doing tanks now.
Yep, thanks. We went through all the melees. um, yeah, yeah. So, hello, how are you doing, Mochi? Hope you're having a good day. Um, but yeah, I guess continuing with the tanks real quick. Um, Going to Warrior, and one thing I actually want to check real quick. And yep, Onslaught still does damage. Okay.
Of course it is. It's a warrior. They're super privileged.
Honestly, after seeing the Dark Knight thing, I kind of, I.
I hate the animation too. It's just a little dash forward. It's not even cool.
Oh. Oh well. I hope that meeting doesn't. Hope that meeting goes good and it isn't too terrible, Mochi. Uh, um. Yeah. Yeah. As for things about Warrior, to go over some of the new stuff with Warrior though, real quick. Sounds like corporate hell. That's for sure. Um. God. Yeah. So going through the new stuff, Damnation, Warriors upgrade to Vengeance. I actually want to check something. Okay, yeah, post. Yeah. So basically, now it reduces damage taken by 4%, and every time you take physical damage, Warrior says, "Screw you, I'm going to deal 55 potency to your face for that."
Oh, they upgraded it by 5 potency.
Yeah, seems like it. Oh, yeah. Hold up, let me bring out Warrior.
But you just need to say, "Oh, I'm done my shift. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. We could pick it up
Oh,
tomorrow."
actually, it's the same right now.
No, it's 40 or 50, I think, last time.
Ah, I'm comparing it to Endwalker numbers right now, which is
Hmm.
whenever over it's 55.
Yeah, it's still.
Still a bit of a nice.
Well, you get the dot or the hot. That's the difference.
Yeah, the healing, which is. I was actually funny enough watching Zeno's video on the tanks.
Yeah. What was his opinion?
He actually thinks that actually won't matter, and
No, they already have enough healing. It doesn't matter.
yeah, it really doesn't matter. Yeah, but I think the content he specifically said, it wouldn't matter.
It's
And
good for dungeons or like variant dungeons.
yeah, that's more or less what he said. Because like stuff like ultimate raids, the boss either kills you or he does or it doesn't.
Yeah, and then, like anytime you're doing a tank bust, you're hitting that plus blood winning, so it doesn't matter
Okay.
realistically.
If my tone doesn't do it, I'm making it clear what I'm about to say isn't sarcasm. But that sounds like such a great boss you have there.
Sarcasm sign.
Yep. Yeah. The fact that the boss would want the 2 weeks notice first thing tomorrow, if you pulled a card like that, is just wow. Okay. I have not worked.
Horrible boss.
Not great, not bad. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll understand more once I finally say hi to the 9 to 5 office work job. Oh boy.
It's people power tripping.
Yeah. Yeah. Going down the list though. Um, let's see here. Does it mention it here? I think it does. But yeah. Hold up. I need to check some traits real quick because I could have sworn Warrior had some upgrades to Inner Chaos and inner. Let's see here. Grants Beyond Fury upon landing Felcleaver Decimate when under inner release. At maximum stats, become Raffle. Upgrading inner release to Primal Wrath. Okay. Da, 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 da.
I knew that they got like a follow up for something for some of their big things.
Okie dokie. Mochi, I hope you have a good meeting, and yeah, I just hope it goes good and it isn't too terrible.
Smack your boss for me. Tell him that Powie did it. It wasn't me, it was Powie. Boss on boss violence, it's fine. He can smack me back, I won't do anything though.
Oh god. Okay, so Primal Wrath here is the new upgrade. So I guess they must have just upgraded the animations of Inner Chaos and to actually look like the new like ground Felcleave animation.
Oh yeah, Promo Rand and Nation.
Yeah, and then of course you have once the Primal Rand grants you the ability to use Primal Renation, which is
Nation, yeah, it's another just dot or big damage.
But Powie, the warrior, has a giant hammer now. Or a giant axe now.
So not P4S or E12S.
Oh god. Yeah, but warrior is. I mean, I've said it a few times throughout the stream. If you like warrior now, you'll like it in Dontra most likely. Um. Yeah. But going on to the last tank, once I close the traits for warrior up. Now we got Paladin. Paladin, oh boy, what to say about Paladin?
Paladin's special, as always.
Special little snowflake Paladin. So first of all, Goring Blade receiving the same change as Sonic Break, so you need to be in fight or flight to use it. Or basically, fight or flight gives you a buff that allows you to execute Goring Blade. Atonement has been changed, so now it's when you use it, you grant a buff that pretty much changes Atonement into a 20 potency higher weapon skill, and it just basically goes to that, and it just that upgrades. It basically Atonement's more or less a self 1-2-3 combo now, with each piece of the combo getting 20 potency higher. Gap Closer is the same as Warriors, still does damage. Guardian is a, we are went over the 40% damage mid, but Paladin's unique effect is that they basically give themselves a barrier that nullifies damage equivalent to a heal of 1,000 potency for 15 seconds.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. Paladin also looks like they're getting an upgrade to Resicast, or Resurrect, or however that I can say that, next expansion. So now it's becoming an AoE ability. It's also getting a bit of a potency buff. Let me double check the potency buff thing though, just to make sure. Yeah, it's getting a bit of a potency buff. It's getting a bit of a potency buff. 260 potency to be more precise. But it's the same as it's always been, so basically it grants 4 stacks of Rescat, and basically what you do is you use Confiteor, yep, you use it, then you go into Blade of Faith, Blade of Truth, Blade of Valor, and then you finish off with Blade of Honor.
Infinite Blade Works.
Yeah.
Wait, that's different. It's a different franchise.
I don't know which franchise that one is, but sounds like a fun time.
I like that. I like that series.
Yeah. Aside from that, cover appears to be the same. I was hoping they kind of removed the gauge cost to increase usage of cover, but hey, whatever.
It's the only thing that uses gauge. Why would they get rid of it?
No, cover is the ability that allows you to take some damage for another player, pretty much. Rampart.
Yeah, I bet that and Shield Tron are the only two things that use the gauge.
Really? I thought they had a third
Yeah,
thing that used gauge.
nonsense. It's two.
Weird. I could have. Huh. Maybe it was third at one point. But okay. I was about to say no way, but then I saw no way. It was Holy Sheltron. Never mind. Situation. Um. Yeah. Aside from that, though, I will take a peek at the traits because curiosity here. Um. Yeah. So 92. Also, just for clarification, all tanks are getting a buff to Rampart and Reprisal. Um, pretty nice.
Oh, it's the rampart buff. I
Uh,
did miss that part.
Basically, adds an additional effect to Rampart that increases HP recovery via healing actions on self by 15% for its duration.
Sorry, it increases self recovery or healing done to you.
Increase HP recovery via healing actions on self by 15%.
Oh, okay.
So basically, if a healer if the white mage casts Cure 2 on you, yeah, you get 15% more healing from it. Oh, Rampart's
Oh,
active.
okay. It was wording was a little weird for a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Reprisal has been extended to 15 seconds. Similar effect to, I believe, Addle Faint as well. So their durations are a bit increased. And then, yeah, so you have Melee Mastery 2, which just upgrades a bunch of potencies. Recastius Mastery, which upgrades Recastius to the new Imperator or Imperator ability. And then Enhanced Blade of Valor just pretty much makes Blade of Valor grant Blade of Honor ready upon landing Blade of Valor for 30 seconds. And then Imperator apparently changes to Blade of Honor while under the effect of Blade of Honor ready. That's apparently how that goes. Aside from that, yeah, you guys heard all over more or less the same paladin. Although, yeah, yeah. Anyways, I guess we should probably wrap up the healers real quick. Again, I get them out of the way and move on to the last two DPS roles left. So Scholar, more or less the same. Change stratagem will grant a buff, allowing for the for the for the for the usage of Beneficial Impaction. Deals unexpected damage over time to the target and all nearby target or all nearby enemies. Potency 140, 15 seconds. So that is about, I believe,
1400 potency.
No, that's if it was 1400, it would be 30 seconds, not 15. It is.
700 then.
I think it's like 8. Yeah, it's 700 potency. Yeah, it's 700 potency total, which is not too shabby. That's a pretty good dot, all things considered. um, Contradiction is an upgrade of Succor. Cure potency is 200. 180% of that it will be of the amount restored will be shield. And then the next big thing, which is their capstone ability, is Seraphism, which I'm just gonna say this real quick. This ability is kind of crack.
Where is it?
Seraphism. It's their level 100 ability.
Oh, I don't see it on stream.
Okay. Oh, right. It's because chat's covering it. That's why. Let me see if I can do stuff. Okay. Goddamn. Okay, give me 1 second real quick. Chat window, chat box. There it is. Unlock. Let me put that. Let me put it here. I'm not trying to get stuff in that corner as I am this one. Here we go. There we go. Here we go. So Seraphism is gradually restores the HP of self and all party members within a radius of 50 yalms. Cure potency 100. And then its additional effect, at least this first one, is that Adlo becomes manifest and Conditions becomes Ascension while under its effect, which I'll cover real quick. Both of them are instacast, restores HP, 360 for manifestation, and 240 for Ascension, which, yeah, both doing 180% with with Manifestation doing another, because it's Zadlo, of course it's doing that. But then comes the interesting part. Its second additional effect is resets emergency tactics recast timer and reduces it to one
Nom nom nom.
second.
Nom nom nom. No more fairies.
Oh god, yeah, yeah. The only downsides that we can't use, or scholars won't be able to use, are the effect that's in stack with dispersion, which is the effect that actually eats the fairy, wherever the heck it is.
Mm.
Here, but yeah, the emergency tactics thing. That one is. Oh
Oh, that's
boy.
the one that makes everything bigger or spreads it.
I think so. Let me try and find emergency tactic. Extends, yeah. So it extends it to everybody nearby. So that's
It spreads the shield.
yeah, which that's actually going to be pretty decent of an effect, and it's just like yeah, the 100. By the way, lasts for 20 seconds, which means that hot is probably going to tick for at least bare minimum six to seven times, so 600 to 700 potency. And then these two are just buffed here because let me check. How much does Adlo do? Where's Adlo? There's Adlo. Yeah, so it's a 60 potency buff. So 20% potency buff to Adlo. Does not have a cast time, so you can just insta cast it. And then if it's crits, then well, guess what? Now you have. It's just that stronger of a buff to just spread to everybody. It's like holy cow.
That's why crit's so good on shield healers.
Yeah. To go over any traits here. So yeah, BioS is damage over time, and Boil 4's potencies have been buffed. The Swift Cast has had its timer reduced to 40 seconds. And yeah, I think that's really yeah. Then it reduces Recitation's recast timer to 60 seconds. That's the sucker upgrade. And yeah. Recitation, what does that do real quick? Oh, well I was okay, so it just extends the Adlo, Consultation, Abominity, and Excog without consuming resources, while also ensuring critical HP is restored. Okay, so that's what it does. Well, that would be nice to have on 60-second cooldown. Not really much to say on here. I'm actually kind of waiting, hoping that Burley would. I'm hoping Burley has some free time to drop by later and kind of do some.
Burley doesn't have free time.
Listen, I can dream, I can hope. Oh god. But yeah, hopefully Burley will be able to give me more insight since he's actually the one who mains. He's the scholar main, so he'll be able to give more insight to how significant those changes are. Going on to White Mage real quick though. Presence of Mind will now grant 3 stacks of Sacred Sight, which will give you access to the new Glare 4 spell. It looks like, yep. So it'll become Glare 4 for 4 GCDs, or 3 GCDs, pretty much. Instacast, 570 potency, AoE damage, has some fall-off damage attached to it. Medica gets upgraded to Medica 3, it seems like. And then Temperance gets a bit of an upgrade that allows it to become, or gets. Actually, no, that's using the action change function, right? But yeah, Presence of Mind gives you access to Glare 4, and then Temperance allows the usage of Divine Charis, which pretty much gives everybody a barrier equivalent to 400 heal potency, and then gives them a heal. Then gives them a regen after the effects phase away for 15 seconds with a cure potency of 200, because why not? It's White Mage we're talking about here.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello!
Burley
Burley!
must be watching the stream.
No, I am watching the stream,
Ah.
but I came to just say I'm so excited.
Everybody
Yes.
shit talking, eh?
Huh? No. Wait, what are you shit
Okay,
talking?
good.
What are you
Okay,
shit
don't
talking,
worry.
Scholar? Me?
No. No.
I will
Don't
come to
worry about
Canada. I will come to
Do
Canada.
it.
Uh,
But I'm sad. I'm actually a lot further away from you now. Like used to be like I could have get like it was a 7-hour drive to Canada, and then probably like a 10-hour drive to like yeah further out.
mm-hmm.
But now that I'm in Colorado, wait no, because you were on the never, you're in Western Canada, right? Or Eastern?
Uh, More central, like central east, I guess.
Oh okay. But
Just
regardless,
north of Toronto.
okay. But yeah, I'm much further from
Yeah.
Canada now.
Yes.
But
I see.
hey, we are on the Scholar page, so this is perfect. Let's go.
Yes. Yes. I actually came back to this one because we were on White Mage a moment ago. But funny enough, before you dropped in here, I mentioned right before I went tapped into the White Mage page here how it would be great for you to drop by to kind of give your sense on the White or on the Scholar changes and some of the new
Uh,
additions to the kit.
well, there is one thing that concerns me, which is seraphism,
Yeah.
because it says like it's basically another fairy eating ability from what I take from it, correct?
It looks that way. Um, it's either that way or they're trying to stop you from using. Because let me go to Whoops's video here because it's part of why I have his
Because
videos pulled up here. Let me go.
yeah,
Let me go to the scholar section when he pops Seraphism to see if it actually properly eats the fairy or if it's just something that. When does he use it? I think
why is
it's
Scholar so short? Oh my god, why are they shitting on Scholar?
Massive. Chain Stratagem now has a
Oh.
follow-up OGCD action, which is a huge dot on your target
Okay.
and all targets nearby it. We
Yeah.
can now stop getting
Let's
so
see it.
mad at our fairy and literally just do it ourselves. Seraphism transforms
enhanced
you
Strange
into an
Stratagem,
altered state with increased healing
like,
benefits. It's,
I don't
Okay.
know.
it's on a
Hold on, let's
Also,
see
100.
just a way for them to do a bit more damage.
Yeah, but I wish it was like a higher potency and not a. Okay, so the fairy is still out.
Yes, yeah.
That's okay.
So it looks like the fairy is still out. So they just don't want the effect. Oops, no, this is Sage. Wrong shield healer. Um, but yeah, they just don't want the effect to stack with dissipation wherever the heck it is here.
Okay.
These are listed in levels. What level range?
Well, that's good. I wonder, did they say if they ever, or did they talk about addressing, like, losing fairy abilities between, like, seraph transitions?
I don't know if that was ever mentioned here.
It's
Let me.
probably more of like not a job change, more of a fix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because, like, that's, like, the fun thing about Scholar is, like, say you use Whispering Dawn, and then you summon your seraph,
Mhm.
like, before the Whispering Dawn cast goes off, then you
Yeah.
just totally lose the ability.
Yeah. The seraph.
Ghosting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ghosting. There we go.
Yeah, ghosting. I don't know if they have done anything to kind of address the ghosting problem because I have not seen anyone talk about the ghosting problem.
Yeah, now they have a.
Yeah, so that one's kind of up in the air. We'll probably have to wait for patch notes on that one, sadly.
Right. I'm
Uh,
sure it's probably a lot harder on the back end, but like it
yeah,
would be nice if like you use Whispering Dawn and then if you summon your Seraph, like after you
the
cast that,
the
then
seraph.
it carry to the Seraph like variation, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, the seraph will. I mean, worst case scenario, the seraph pops their own. Actually, hold up. What's worse, the seraph's version or the base whispering dawn? Hold up. 80 pounds. Are they the same? Oh yeah, that's the chain. Yeah, so yeah, it's just like why can't the seraph just use it? Just like the seraph kind of just does a buffering thing where they buffer the action until the transformation's done, and then once it's done, they just use their version of whispering dawn.
Right.
It's like
Right. And like I said, I'm sure it's a lot more complicated than that on the back end, but to me,
yeah,
like that would be just something super super nice to see. But I mean
uh,
also like I'm sure other scholars can attest too that like now at this point like
yeah,
I'm just so used to it that like I've adapted my entire play style around it, you know, like I very consciously like place Whispering Dawn and Fey Illumination in different places than whenever I summon my Seraph. It's very rare anymore that I would
hmm
even use those Seraph variations just because I've used them earlier in the fight to avoid ghosting on accident with it later.
yeah, um, yeah. Yeah, but aside from that, seems like yeah. So consultation, a new spell you're getting at 96 is pretty much a sucker upgrade. Um,
What what is that? Oh, consolation. We already had that.
or
Oh, so it just
consultation. Yeah, so it's more or less just a sucker upgrade from.
oh, that wasn't in the screenshot you sent me.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it wasn't a screenshot. However, Ascension which is what Seraphism upgrades. One of the two things Seraphism upgrades, alongside
Right. So
Adula, which is
restore
manifestation.
own HP and HP of all nearby party members. 240 cure potency. I mean that's hold on, zoom back in. I'm
Okay.
reading it.
Okay.
Erects a magical. Yo, wait.
Sorry. It's a stream delay. Give it a second.
Oh my god. Erects a magic barrier which
Quick,
nullifies
scroll
damage
up and down.
equally. I will kill you. Uh, can
I'll
only be
probably.
so. It doesn't replace any. Oh, it replaces. So it's like super buff sucker, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Um,
Well,
it,
that's nice that we're getting an upgrade for sucker because we
yeah,
literally had that ability since A Realm Reborn.
yeah, yeah. It's really nice. About time, by the way. It's like you guys got an upgrade for that.
Level 35.
Yeah,
Just been sitting there chilling.
yeah. Also, just so. Oh yeah, the dead weight's still there. Boo! Why is it still here? Why is it still here? Oh. Oh no, maybe there's some niche uses for physics that I'm just unoblivious to as a non-scholar main.
No, physics really useless. There's a lot of scholars that actually don't even put it on their hotbar.
Uh,
Yeah.
Like if you look at like the higher end players,
yeah,
yeah.
like it's just that useless. Holy cow.
It's
Uh,
because
Just like
like if you're
Sinastri.
yes.
yeah.
Also, Burley, one thing that's going to be helpful for you is they reduced Swiftcast's recast timer to
Yeah, I saw
40.
that.
Yeah, that's going to be really nice for just situations when shit hits the fan, and then shit hits the fan again 40 seconds later.
Mm. Yeah, I think it feels really
Cast
good.
has a damage dot buff though.
Well, it's also for raising for prog and stuff.
Yeah, which I
That
think
40 seconds is going to be super nice for prog,
yeah,
like
which I think even
specifically.
then, like outside of like parsers, most healers try their best to kind of save shortcat or swiftcast for the reses because they know that hey
Oh
anything.
no! Once we learn to fight, I'm using that shit for damage, or I'm using that shit, or like I'm using it to cast a sucker while I'm moving.
Yeah, which is very useful. Which,
Yeah,
by the way, one plus side of a Seraphism is that both Manifestation and Ascension are both instacast.
that is nice.
So if you have to do that during Seraphism, it's like, well, you don't have to
Yeah,
waste your
I can move.
Swiftcast.
I can move. Mobility. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
Only downside is that Sucker's upgrade that's not named Ascension is,
Hold on, wait. Let me look at manifestation.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty much upgraded Aloe. Uh,
So that's all. So you become Seraph, and then those two abilities just become buffed.
yeah, this seems like they gain a 20% cure potency buff to each of them from their original counterparts on top of the instacast and yeah,
No, that's
that's
pretty great,
yeah.
honestly.
Also, emergency tactics cooldown gets reset and is reduced to 1 second while you're in Seraphism.
Oh, I mean,
I mean that's nice for
that's a nice oh shit button,
yeah.
but like
That's
I really don't use emergency tactics that often because most of the time I would
yeah,
rather have the shield from Sucker.
yeah,
Like especially if I'm going to waste the time to cast a GCD,
yeah,
then like
yeah.
and
What?
especially if the other healer
Mhm.
is
Yeah,
doing what they're supposed to do.
yeah. One thing I think that
No,
comes to mind.
healers don't heal.
Yeah, they damage.
Yeah, one
Play
thing.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
One thing I think is nice when it comes to manifestation, though, is that if you happen to be in a situation where you sit on a tank and big raid wide damage comes up, you can just easily emergency tactic it to everybody else if you get the crit shield off, and then bam, that's and hey, if you're in a situation where you need to use it again, who knows how many seconds later, then hey, it's nice to have it off cooldown. That's a bit of a, as you said, an old ship button.
Yeah, and Scholar like was missing those, so I
Yeah.
think this is a great addition to the kit because whenever you get into sticky situations, especially like if you're solo healing or like doing a dungeon, like it's
Yeah.
sometimes it's really hard to bring the party back out of that, especially for new players, like or
Yep.
new scholars. So especially having those at level cap will help with like expert dungeons and raids and stuff like that significantly. I think
Yeah.
those are all really really great additions. I'm excited about them.
Yeah. Aside from that, it appears that most of the kit is more or less the same. Energy drain is still energy drain to the not delight of, I'm pretty sure, several people. I really
I
wished.
mean,
Energy drain was a favorite though.
yeah, energy drain
People
is
were complaining that they were taking it away.
Yeah. I mean,
they're removing it.
They tried to remove it at one point, but
Yeah,
then people
they
complained so much.
yeah, pretty much what Powie said. They tried to at one point, but then it didn't really work out.
I mean, that's like you're like getting in your energy drains. That's how you parse as a scholar.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, people were
pretty much.
complaining because they didn't have anything to spend their points on or whatever they are.
yeah, aether flows.
Yeah.
So like, oh my god, why heal?
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much. Yeah. And aside from that,
But Scholar has also canonically like been the green DPS until they gave White Mage a flat chest misery.
Yeah.
And then
yeah,
it lost this title.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we have Sage just being Sage in its own corner.
Yeah. I mean, but even Sage itself, like yes, it heals through damage, but its damage output is still significantly less than White Mage and Scholar.
That may change because on top of their new flashy 60-second ability that they're getting, damage ability, they're also
what
getting...
does it do?
It's just 600 potency with fall off damage. But the big thing is Eucrasian Dicasis, which is a 40 potency dot. Pretty much, you know that AoE ability they have that does damage around them?
Yes.
That spell is pretty much can be affected by Eucrasia now, and that's what Eucrasian Dicasia is what it turns into. Same effect where it does it around you, but now it does 40 potency with a duration of 30 seconds.
Wait, so how do you get the Eucrasia effect?
That's like your stance toggle.
Yeah, it's the thing you toggle, like you just press it, and the next.
I thought that was called Cardia.
No, that's the persistent buff you put on someone.
Yeah, that's the dance partner buff, pretty much.
Eucrasia. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what any of the names of the Sage things are.
You did Savage as a Sage? Did you?
I just know the buttons. Like I can look at the button and I can tell you exactly what that ability does, but I could not tell you the name of it.
Burley, that was me with Samurai for like a good portion of time until I actually committed the names to heart.
Oh my! It's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But
So basically,
I get it. Eucrasia now. Okay. I know. So it's the buff that you give yourself that gives the shields to your abilities and creates the dot. Yes.
Yeah. But the thing is about it, on top of being an AoE dot, it's completely separate from this one. And there's a section where...
So it has two dots. So now Sage is the dot DPS.
Yeah, that seems...
Okay.
Yeah, that seems like it's potentially going to thing unless they nerf this thing's potency, which I'm hoping they not, because...
But that kind of sucks, because Scholar used to have 3 dots that you could put on the enemies, because you had...
Well, it was a leftover from Summoner.
Yeah, but still, like...
Vestigial.
Yeah.
Why would you not get that back to Scholar?
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely... It feels like they're trying to double down on Sage's identity as a disc priest, and while they're trying to do that, they're also trying to figure out ways they could give a booster of damage, and also,
fun fact though about I don't mean to cut you off, but one thing about Sage too that is a common misconception is that people think that the dot like continually restores HP per tick, but that is incorrect. The dot actually only restores HP whenever for the initial hit.
When Powie brought that up, that the dot does that, heals the tank over time, my first thought was, I don't want to correct him and then seem like an asshole because I was wrong, but
no, it doesn't. It does not. It's the initial hit of the dot.
I think I tested that like at the start of Evan Walker, went to like a level 60 area and tested it out.
I know that because I read it in the balance guide whenever we rated. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's a common misconception, and
Yeah.
so that is actually not going to be as great of a healing opportunity as people. It's actually less heals because the
Mhm.
initial potency is lower.
Yeah. Yeah, but even then, still, it's like, yeah, it's definitely one of those things that one of my nitpicks with 14 is that they definitely seem to have a habit sometimes of taking identities from some jobs and then moving them around. But at the same time, it's also hard to tell if that's an issue with 14 or an issue because the game has been around for so long, and that's just kind of an inevitability that identities are going to get moved around.
And there's only like so much new that you can implement,
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
especially like in a genre that's been around for a long time, and
and
like
and
we've
even
seen these things done before.
mhm.
Like
yeah,
there's only so much you can do.
yeah, especially in the case of like 14, a game that's been around for 10 years at this point.
Right. And
Since
has such a code already behind it, and
yeah, but moving on to the whole scenario with the dot and this thing, equation prognosis. So when you use the buff that gives you the shield thing, it's getting a upgrade, and then finally they're getting a buff that more or less just gives some AOE cardia to everyone and increases healing magic potency by 20% for 20 seconds.
okay. So
So
now like basically every healer has that button now.
yeah, pretty much. But it definitely seems like they're trying with this thing. They're trying to double down on Sage's identity as a disc priest, even though it only happens to be once every 30 seconds, or not 30 seconds, but 180 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, on to the one that we were talking about right as you showed up.
White mage.
Yes,
I
white.
made it in time for the healers. Let's go.
Yes.
The only things I care about.
Yeah, you did miss the
It's
Astro.
almost like we're married to DPS.
Oh my god.
Yes, you did miss the Astro section, but we can go go over that
It's
for you.
fine. We all know I don't play Astro.
Yes. But yeah,
Alright.
Astro
sorry.
best.
Yeah, starting off with the first change, presence of mind will now grant once you reach a certain 92. Once you reach 92, presence of mind will grant you 3 stacks of sacred sight. Pretty much, you can use them to cast glare 4, a new spell that does 7 9 or 7 or not 7 blah 570 potency with some fall off damage, and it will consume a stack while doing so.
So they're really leading into White Mage being the top damage dealer, it looks like.
Yeah, pretty much. Which, honestly, I don't mind since if you're gonna because the pure because White Mage has no party buff of any kind, similar to Sage. So it makes sense that White Mage and Sage probably receive a little bit more damage tools to kind of help push them over
Because
the edge.
and Scholar and Astro are like utility king and queen.
Yeah, yeah. Um, they also got. I'm actually gonna kind of prep this up so I can get the talents up. Yes, I know. I have an ad blocker on. Big deal.
How dare you?
Yes, how dare I have an ad blocker on because I didn't. Yeah. So yeah, Temperance will also grant a buff now that will allow the usage of Divine Caress. Pretty much.
Divine Caress.
Yeah, Divine Caress. Thank you for the correction and pronunciation. Divine Caress will pretty much give everybody in range a shield equivalent to 400 heal potency, and then once that effect fades away, everyone gets a regen for 200 potency for 15. Basically, they get a regen for, grants regen after the effect fades away, pretty much, with a cure potency of 200 15 seconds. I think that's base. Actually, hold up. Is that base regen? Yeah. Oh, it's 50 under regen.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have the Medica 3 upgrade. Potency-wise, Dia looks like it's getting upgraded. Afflistus Bud Lily is getting potency upgrade, and so is Glare 3. Also, another charge of... Oh god, I'm going to butcher this one so much. Oh my god.
Tetragrammaton.
Yeah, Tetragrammaton. God damn. Every time I see that, my first instinct is, how are you supposed to go about pronunciation of that one?
It is a mouthful.
Yeah, it is a mouthful. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
2 charges. Like White Mage can fucking raise your dead grandmother from the dead. Like
yeah. And then immediately heal her back to full with
Yeah,
venison.
like actually, your grandmother would never die because white mage would just constantly keep her alive.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's actually kind of
Ooh.
nuts.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, I was wondering where this thing was. So now you also have En Avant in your kit as a white mage on a
Oh
60
right,
second cooldown.
at level 40 even.
Yeah. I was wondering where that was in their kit.
So do the wings like spawn still? Because I think every time they've shown it, they've been under the effect of a flat shift.
I
Not a flat shift,
Transcendence.
temperance.
Yeah, Temperance. I actually do not know. And there's the noise of the
Did
dog go.
It
yeah,
probably doesn't give you the wings.
you
Okay.
would just dash.
Okay. Okay, here we go.
Additional charge. Shift. This is on a 60-second cooldown and
Okay.
will send you
Yeah, I'd
15
be
yalms
interested
forward.
to
It
know
doesn't
that.
need a target.
Yeah, okay. It looks like it just
If you're
has a
familiar
dash
with
effect to
Dancer's
it.
En Avant, this functions basically the same way. Also, Ethereal Shift is learned at just level 40. Sweet!
Yep. By the way, for those who want a good um, video to go over the changes, recommend Whoops' video. He broke down Viper way better than Mr. Happy did, in my opinion. At least in a manner that I understand better than Mr. Happy did. God. But yeah. Yeah, but for the most part, it's... I mean, I've said this for a few of the jobs, but if you like the Endwalker Carnation, you probably would like the Dawn Trail version, since... Yeah, it's more or less the same. But yeah. Astro is interesting, I'll say that before just having a look at it. And then we move on to the next one. We covered Summoner earlier. And Pentamancer. So I guess we'll go to Red Mage, I guess, before we talk the Behemoth as Black Mage. So Red Mage, what's this say about it? Yeah, so I guess to go over some of the new stuff. Embolden will now grant Thorn Flourish, gives you access to Vice of Thorns, AoE ability. Jolt 2 gets upgraded to Jolt 3. Actually, is that new for Red Mage? Let me check if that's new for Red Mage. Does have to check if that's new for Red Mage. Looks to be new for Red Mage, actually, yeah. Jolt 2. Hold up, let me find Jolt.
Hey, I gotta hop off here. Roark just came. We're gonna go get dinner. But
Okay.
for going over the white mage changes, I'll catch you guys later.
Roark is there. Ooh.
Catch you next.
Yes.
Catch you next time, Burley.
Yep. Bye.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, going further. After finishing a melee combo, so doing the, so pretty much. Oh wait, right, I have to be in combat to do it. Yeah, don't mind me, I'm just doing OG cities. So after doing this, so after doing a full combo like this, more or less, so after doing all of that motion, you'll gain access to a new basically Manifestation will become a new off global cooldown called Curation, so basically some free potency. And then, oh boy, I'm really got to look at the conditions for this thing real quick. What the hell? Okay. Yes, I know. Cooper Escape. Okay, you're not happy with me on that. Okay. So, from what I can tell, when you use... Where's the acceleration, actually? Here it is. Okay, so when you use... or when you... Basically, when you use an acceleration, you are given Grand Impact Ready, which turns Jolt and Impact into Grand Impact, which pretty much does 540 potency to with some AoE damage, fall off, and cast. Yeah, you got the shortcuts change. There's the idle change I mentioned earlier. Really, kind of, I've said it multiple times. Enjoyed Endwalker, you'll enjoy Dawn Trail's version of the job. Looks like fun though. Honestly, I think that's probably the case for like most of the jobs. Honestly, most of them look like they'll be another fun time. If I'm frank. Going into Black Mage here. Oh boy, part of me wants to wait for Vinny to show up whenever he does. If he does. Oh boy, Black Mage, Black Mage, Black Mage. Where can a casual as heck Black Mage player talks about this one? You can move the ley lines. They changed Paradox, so now you only get it when changing from Umbral Ice to Astral Fire now. Instead of changing from either or, you gain Paradox. Having 3 charges of Umbral Ice makes it so you restore 1000 potency. Or not 1000 potency, but restore 1000 MP, or 10,000 MP. So you only need to cast, this is applied to any ice spell, so Umbral Soul does this, or just casting a simple Blizzard 4 will get you the MP needed to go back into fire. Manafiction, where is it? They Giga Chad buffed this thing into the freaking Stratosphere. So first of all, you immediately switch to Astral Fire 3. You get all your MP back. You get Thunderhead, so you get to immediately cast a Thunder spell. And then you get three stacks of Umbral Hearts. Because why not? And you get Paradox, because why not? 2-minute cooldown. Also, yeah, I guess I should explain this, but they reworked how Thunder spells work. They're no longer something you just cast whenever with a chance of proccing to reset their recast timer. So now what they change it to is that now when you change Umbral Ice or Umbral Fire, you are given an effect of Thunderhead. And pretty much you have 30 seconds to use it, and you get to use High Thunder or High Thunder 2 for free. Just a free spell you cast now. 200 potency with a 50 dot potency for 30 seconds. You still got Amplify as a Black Mage. You also now got a new mechanic with the fire spells, which is every time you cast a Fire 4 or Despair or a whatchamacallit, what's it, Flare? Yeah, Flare. You'll get an Astral Soul. Once you get 6, you can cast Flare Star. Doesn't cost an MP, just costs that gauge, which is pretty much free damage. This thing is more or less going to do like an extra like 700 potency because it's a fire spell and Astral Fire stance. Yeah, they really should mention how much. Oh. Okay, then. There they go, mentioning the Astral Fire thing. Yeah, so while under the effect of Astral Fire 3, increase the potency by 80%. Okay. Plus the no chain effect, wherever the heck it is. Here it is. So 30% now. So that is... holy crap, what is that? So you have an 80 potency buff plus a 30% buff on top of that. Oh, God. Oh, Powie. God, Black Mages. Oh, boy, they're eating well. Holy crap. They're eating so well in terms of damage. 234% roughly damage increase. Holy crap. Black Mages, you are eating well. Holy crap. Yeah, so this is basically 700 potency. Okay, then. Okay, 700 potency's worth of damage, more or less. God damn. So, yeah. Give me 1 second here. Just sending something to a friend. As for other traits here, get their stack of polygot. That's gonna be pretty good. Actually, one thing I want to check is they showed us off the trailer involving triple cast. Does triple cast? Okay, doesn't look like it. Okay. Maybe Fire Forward mentions it. Natural Soul. Okay. Yeah. Aside from that, Black Mage is going to be interesting to see what changes for it to go into next expansion. That's definitely going to be interesting to see. Paradox also grants Fire Starter for that, so a free Fire Forecast, if I can find where Fire 4, or not Fire 4, but Fire 3 cast. Which is always, I think, a welcome addition for the job. And also the next Fire 3 will require no cast time, which is, yeah, as you can see right there, that's the FET. Yeah. It's very interesting. I'm definitely going to wait until Vinny gets in here to give his 2 cents on that, because he's our resident Black Mage. And the FC. I'm in. Yeah. The kind of, I guess, to kind of just finish off the jobs list here before I see if I could grab some friends to give their opinions on the media tour info before, or yeah, grab more friends. I guess we'll start off with the final 2. I guess we'll do Dancer real quick here. Dancer changes. So let me actually grab the traits here. So yeah, okay. So when you execute standard finish now, where is it? Here it is. Standard finish. You'll get Last Dance ready. This is a free insta-cast weapon skill for 20 potency. Then you got potency increases from that, as well as heal second wind, cure potency increase, which is pretty good. And then as well as the shield samba upgrade, damage reduction upgrade at 98. Enhanced finishing. Enhanced Flourish 2 grants finishing move ready upon executing Flourish. Duration 30 seconds. So now on top of the other buffs it grants, it now has finishing move ready, which is a 820 weapon skill. That grants standard step and a spirit. Holy crap! Oh boy, that's a big damaging move. Also grants Last Dance ready, so yay, fun. And then upon executing technical finish, you now get Dance of the Dawn, which is a 1000 bones, so you just do a bunch of damage. Ability, 50 gauge cost ability now. For which it seems like might be a case of just Ember Dance might turn into that ability. From what I'm saying here, probably that's what happens. That would probably make the most sense.
Wish I could help you. I don't play Dancer.
Yeah. Yeah, Dancer looks like Dancer. Honestly, past 2 expansions have been more or less just extensions of what it was before. just adding new stuff to its kit, making additions.
They're like RNG on RNG.
Yeah. Dancer is still Dancer. But hey, now we can go back to another. Now we can talk about another proc-based class, Bard.
Hopefully they have good changes.
Yeah.
Need it.
Going through a new ability added in their or a new weapon skill added in their kit or ability. I'm going to double check here once I see what it is. So Barrage, being Barrage now. Barrage has a buff that grants Resonant Arrow Ready. This is a new weapon skill that does 600 potency. It's that Fury of Arrows that we seen in the trailer, or in the job action trailer, and as well as the benchmark.
So I gave him a scrap from my plate. He peed himself.
Yeah, probably the time
A little too excited.
Yeah. Also, I believe that's an upgrade for Bloodletter, but Bloodletter gets upgraded into Heartbreak Shot. I guess Bard will be breaking people's hearts now. Okay. And then Radiant Finale will have a weapon skill they can use right after Radiant Finale that does more damage based off how many coda you have. And aside from that, like, they have the pitch perfect change with the potency, with it being an AoE and a potency. I think you also have the song changes, which let me see if I can find them. Yeah, so now they don't do damage; they just do their buff effects. So you don't need a target to apply them, which is great for downtime moments and fights. Aside from that, I don't think there's really much changes to Bard, really. Yeah, don't think there's really a lot of changes to Bard. It's just more or less the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some jobs that went through some interesting changes, but definitely a batch of jobs that definitely are more or less the same going into the next expansion. But I'll pull a quick BRB, and because I think my dog will probably need to be taken out soonish, so I'll get that done. Yeah. Oh, we have people who showed up here. Okay, somebody was stuck on target over here. That's what the noise was. But yeah, I'll be right back. I am back. Uh,
Welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah. So, Powie,
So,
what's your 2 cents on the two new kids on the block that'll be coming next expansion? Fight.
haven't looked at them at all.
Mm. Gotcha.
Cheesy Discovery Channel.
Yeah. Yeah. Viper doesn't look like it's gonna be complicated. It's just a deal of you're going to have to really do your best to not miss those positionals with Viper, because because even though they're not even though they're only 50 potency, your selfish DPS is Viper, so therefore every positional miss kind of stings for your damage output.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be like probably a bigger thing. That's gonna have some. That's gonna add a bit of a skill ceiling for Viper. As, yeah. Aside from that, looks to be pretty straightforward. As a job. Um, 2 out of the 2 buffs it has to maintain seem to kind of go on autopilot if you're doing your rotation right. Because they have a damage buff and they also have a reduced weapon skill cast time and recast time, spell cast time and recast time, and auto attack. Like the good old attack speed buff. Yeah. Yeah. It also looks like it won't kind of fall in the same pit holes that or the same thing that Reaper's positionals fall into, which was that you could kind of mostly ignore them by just using True North and just timing the usage of your positionals with the True North.
I liked it.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting, but for those who'd like to do positionals, they are out there. It definitely was a case of, well, that just kind of just removed the point of doing the positionals. But yeah, Viper does seem to be pretty simple, because how Viper's. I don't know if you've seen any information on the
No.
life letter on Viper, but basically how it works is that they're 1-2 buttons. They only really need 2 buttons for their combos, but 1 and 2 will pretty much change into the next buttons in the combo. So it starts with either
Okay.
yeah. So still
Similar to Dancer.
yeah, similar to Dancer. But yeah, so Steel Fangs will turn into so the first 2 you start off with is Steel Fangs and Dread Fangs. Steel Fangs is just a hit hard button, while Dread Fangs is 100 pounds, does half the amount of damage, but gives the good old classic Death's Design debuff for Viper. Or their iteration of it, so have fun, Vipers. It doesn't even go to 30 seconds, it only goes to maximum 40 seconds. But yeah. Yeah, and then Steel Fangs turns into Hunter Sting, and Dread Fangs turns into Swift Skin Sting. And pretty much Hunter Sting gives you Hunter's Instinct, which is your damage buff to yourself, and then Swift Skin Sting gives you the attack speed buff. Then both of them do the same potency, by the way. But once you've done that, and then you move to the third part of the combo. Now this is where things change. So if you do Hunter Sting, Hunter Stings will turn into Flank Sting Strike, and then Hunter's and Swift Skin Sting will turn into Flank's Bane Fang. But if you do Swift Skin Sting as your second in the combo, Hunter Sting will turn into Heinz Sting Strike, and Swift Skin will turn into Heinz Bane Fang. But the important thing to remember is that basically, if you do Hunter Sting, the two weapon skills you do afterwards will be flank positionals, and if you do Swift Skin as your second in the combo. The two weapons goes out. The next in the combo will be a rear positional. That's at least how I'm keeping it in my head remembered as, which I think will be a simple way of doing it. But yeah. And then after you execute one of them, they'll grant a buff enhancing a different combo ender. So flank sting strike will grant hind stung venom, which will increase hind sting strikes potency by 100. Keep in mind all their potencies get boosted by 100 when enhanced. Hind sting grants flank bane venom, which boosts flank bane fangs damage, and then flank bane gives hind's bane, and then hind's bane just basically resets the loop back at flank sting. Simple loop.
I see.
It's
I'll
also
have to try it out to understand it, I think.
yeah. There was a an old thing, or not an old thing, but there's like this picture I said like Vinny and another friend of mine, DK, to help them kind of understand the combo route a bit. Let me see if I can find TK, because TK has the one with like the enhanced buffs at the bottom. Here we go. Copy image. And then, might as well mark it as spoilers just so nobody gets mad at me.
Mm.
Okay. There you go. So that's pretty much the simplified combo route for the
I
abilities.
see.
Yeah. And then of course you get a 400 potency OGCD at the end of the combo, regardless of what you do, because why not?
You must have a very fast attack speed.
Its attack speed buff is about 15%, although one of my friends in a different Discord is speculating that this might be a skill speed det class, determination class, but we'll see if that ends up being true. Honestly, I'm tempted to agree with him because there's some interesting things about Viper's Cut. And that's the fact that everything involving the twin blades, or at least their GCDs, have a longer GCD than your normal dual blade stuff. So, Hunter's Coil, which is or not Hunter's Coil, but Dreadwinder, there we go, which has a 40-second charge time, has 2 charges, does 450 potency, has about the same cooldown as Hunter's Coil and Swiftskin's Coil. I bet you can bet what those two potentially give you if you execute those two. But yeah, outside of granting the usage of those two abilities, or those two weapon skills I just mentioned, it also grants you Noxious Gash, which is pretty much Viper's version of Death's Society, for 20 seconds, or extends it by 20 seconds if you already have it up to a maximum of 40. It also grants Rattling Coil, which is used for a range AoE attack that does like 500 base potency on its own. I'll get into that in a second, but moving on to Hunter's Coil and Swiftskin Coil, both of them do 500 damage, an extra 50 if you hit their respective positional. Hunter's is flank, Swiftskin is rear. Hunter's Coil also gives you the damage buff, and also grants you Hunter's Venom, which basically just affects which OGCD you're going to do in which order. Also increases the Serpent's Offering gauge by 5. Swiftskin does more or less the same, except it gives Swiftskin's Venom instead of Twin Fang Venom, and also grants you the attack speed buff. Yeah, and then basically they have Twin Fang Bite and Twin Blood Bite that you use, and pretty much the order is to depending on which one you use. If you Hunter Coil, it's Twin Fang Bite, and then Twin Blood Bite you want to use, and then with Skin is the opposite order. And then there's the Reawaken, which does 600 potency to all nearby enemies, consuming 50 gauge of the Serpent's Offering gauge, and then just basically puts you into an Enshroud window, more or less. Best way of simplifying it is it's Enshroud. You do your first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation, and then you finish up with Ouroboros, doing a weave of first legacy, second legacy, third legacy, fourth legacy, after their respective generations are done. So yeah. And then there's also Uncoiled Fury, which is just a 500 potency range AoE attack you do that costs a rattling coil, but it grants you pretty much 2 off global cooldowns you can do, which is Uncoiled Twin Fang and then Uncoiled Twin Blood, which pretty much total for 400 potency each, or 400 potency together. So with its off global cooldowns, it's a total of a 900 potency little combo that's done. Yeah, selfish DPS, by the way. Only ability has that grants buffs is Serpent's Ire, which is 1 stack of Rattling Coil and Ready to Reawaken, which is pretty much the buff that, it's pretty much the new Plentiful Harvest thing, where it just does it for free instead of giving gauge. But yeah. Yeah, let me see if I can find footage of no commentary of the dungeon real quick.
One important debuff to your target.
Sometimes it really throws dealerships for a loop. They're like, but what? Don't you want a loan? No, I don't want extra financing fees.
Okay. Alright, here we go. Got some footage of the dungeon on the live stream. Yeah. So
Oh my god, a fish is pulling the boat.
yep. So random question, did you saw the breach video I linked earlier?
I didn't, I was very busy.
Okay. Yeah. It's like, congratulations, you got done with birds. Now here's a bunch of fish. Enjoy.
They really don't like us pulling everything.
Not in this opening dungeon, they don't. Sometimes they're fine with us pulling everything. Other times they're kind of like, nah, you only have to do 1 pull at a time. It's kind of a case of every dungeon we get where you can pull practically almost everything until the boss. We get one dungeon, or yeah, one dungeon where we can't do that. I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of expecting the dungeon that they probably were showing off during the benchmark, not this one, but hey, you know, I'll take it. More dungeon environments. By the way, they're finally off the boat.
For me, they're still on the boat.
Oh, right, stream delay. Well, whoops. Okay, give me a second. Oh. I'm gonna pause this real quick. Just, okay, why is it... You know, fuck it. I'll worry about that later. I was trying to do something, but, you know. And I feel like this boss might need to learn a thing or two about waste management. How it just drops everything everywhere. Line blanks and cones. Fun. And adds during my dungeon fight. Or my dungeon boss. And wow, the boss is so targetable too. That's not really that much big of a deal.
Now you're sick, man.
Yeah, you
That'll
just...
be fun.
I did not hear what you said, so let me...
You just ignore the ads. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with how passive some jobs are, they're for how passively some jobs can or not really, I don't think passively, sorry, I think the words, yeah, easily. How easily some jobs can switch between like their AoE and single target now. I do feel like it's just like, you can easily just kill the ads and just move on with your life. Alright then. So that's probably all the boss has to really show. Repeat mechanics time, it seems. Okay. Green light. Song of Punity, what the hell? Oh, it's this again. Okay. Yeah, and then they just put potions in the chest for Mediator. That's something they do in every Mediator. Vectomancer is truly the Splatoon class, aren't they?
Hmm.
Just climb. Let's run above that. There. Oh, wait, I know what I did wrong. I locked it. That's what I did wrong. Yeah, I got stuck under here. No, actually, hold on. That way. There we go. Okay. Oh, the boss is asleep. Oh, never mind. That's a waste.
Must not have taken much damage.
I was gonna uppercut the take. So. Drowsy dams, okay. Alright. Line AoEs? Or Konos? It's line AoEs, okay. Now they... Oh. Now they're bigger. Oh, now you got giant T AoE afterwards. Well, not exactly a hard mechanic sequence. Last time first engine and expansion, you've... Yeah. You know, how much you want to... You know, I'm curious on how much we can actually ignore those ads before they actually start to become problematic. I am a little bit curious on that front. Like, can the warrior or can the tank just tank them entirely, or are they gonna suffer if they stay, if those ads stay alive for too long? Questions that we won't know until the expansion comes out. Alright then. That is not a safe spot he is standing in. You want to move a little bit to the left, I think. Or to the right. Alright, which one is... Wow. That mechanic really does use a lot of room. I guess that's what happens when the AoEs are massive, huh?
Yeah.
Outside of that, doesn't look super difficult. Looks like he'll probably kill it relatively quickly. All things considered. Oh. Actually, one thing I need to do, since I know fucking Zircon is music's blast, I know. Don't know if it was hearable, sorry if it wasn't.
I don't know. Have you streamed it?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I do like how it's like, you know, 3, like still, like it's still the same area, but it's like 3 different parts of the dungeon, and like some visual distinctiveness. One thing I still like about their dungeons that they're still doing. At least we know how the dungeon will look, at least it won't be an issue. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, better reminder. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip ahead a little bit here since we kind of, not by a lot, but just kind of. Alright. That looks like final boss material right there, if I had to guess.
I don't know. Stream's really delayed.
Oh.
Very enamored with their super.
Yeah, there's really not much I can really. Don't think there's really much I could do about the blur on my end. Like, what's the stream quality out on your end for the stream?
How many of those are owned by Brett?
Or actually, no, it should be at like 1080p, right?
1080. Yeah. It's just like you say that's a boss, but I still see you doing trash.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, that's probably because of the. That's actually probably more due to the stream delay, actually. Because I think there's like a decent amount of stream delay. Or delay with the stream, so it's like takes a while for it to catch up.
Yeah, like you just paused the video now.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, now I see the final boss. You're just starting to fight now.
Yep. Is it like a 30-second delay?
No, it's gotta be longer than that.
Oh, okay. Whatever. I'll do a bit of a test on it, and this once we're done with those, to test how long the delay is. You think there'll be ads, but no. The boss just kills them anyways. Wait, is that old delirium? Or reprisal? Hi. Oh. Okay, that's interesting. So AoE that moves around and it does like a... Okay. Bunch of flying AoEs. Interesting. Don't think we had something like that. Yep. Well, that could have ended badly. Yep. Yeah. Yes, I guess that was the new the new dungeon. Not too shabby for the first dungeon of an expansion. About what I would expect. It looks like it's not going to be very hard, which is about what I expect for a dungeon, honestly, in 14.
What are you up to?
Unless that dungeon has the words criterion in front of it, in front of the word dungeon, I'm not expecting it to be hard at all.
No, of course not.
Yeah. Or if they have deep and it's past the floors where you could where you could where you could do matchmaking. Because usually those trying to make it usually the max floor is usually a challenge and a half for deep. Usually a challenge and a half for deep dungeons. Yeah. Well, I think that's basically most, if not all of them, all of the Mediator info. I'll probably do another. Yeah, I'm probably thinking of possibly doing another stream in the future when more people are free or available to talk about some of the job changes, because yeah, I do think some people were sadly not available during this time, which is a little bit of an oof, but yeah. Yeah, so I'll probably do another stream, just just kind of having a good discussion with friends, hopefully, and talking about some of the changes, what what people like and don't like. Plus, an excuse for more live streams, and maybe more earlier than the day, which hopefully will mean it'll get my brain in the idea of, hey, going to sleep earlier. That's not 5 a.m. in the morning, and then going past that because freaking hell, the Mediator information came out, and I was going off of hype. Oh god, I only got to sleep around 7. I've been going off of 5 hours of sleep today.
It's not good.
Yeah, I swear what fuels me at this point is hype and nothing but hype. Well, anyways, I plan on going to sleep hopefully way earlier, so yeah. As for the usual Final Fantasy X dash, or yeah, Final Fantasy 10-2 stream, I think I'm probably gonna do it. Probably gonna not do it tonight and do a different one because of the lack of sleep I got. I really don't want to be pushing my luck with trying to do a 10-2 stream. Um, it's a bad idea. Sounds like, especially since I usually start this at 10 and end them at like 1 a.m. in the morning. So I'm not gonna push it. I'm just gonna go to bed at my earliest convenience and just say hi to the sleeps. I think that's probably gonna be better for me. um, but yeah, I hope everyone who's watching the stream live has enjoyed it. If anyone's watching the VOD on YouTube or Twitch, I hope you enjoy it. If you did, feel free to follow or subscribe depending on which platform you're watching it on, Twitch or YouTube. Helps the channel grow. As for the two, and just to kind of cover my bases, Whoops's FF14 Dawn Trail new jobs, job changes, dungeon, and more video was shown in this VOD, as well as actually I only needed to kind of do the thing, as well as where is it? Actually, no, I could just go to my history for those. Yeah, outside of, and then Frosty Mogborn's new dungeon BM Trust dialogue gameplay and the dungeon name Mediator was shown as well. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Next stream will probably be tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. To do stuff with the static potentially, or at least part of the static, maybe. If not, then maybe I'll do something else. Maybe I'll just push back the stream a bit and just do the Final Fantasy 10-2 stream. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed the stream. Before we go, though, or this isn't really before we go, this is more or less me just doing something because I believe, yes, she is streaming. Yep, I'm aware I'm alive, stream management. Now, where is it? Where is the thing? There it is, right channel. Channel Farfy. Here we go. Yep, so I'm reading my good friend Flarfy here. And yeah. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed and hope to see you all next time. Let me get this going. Alright, it has a 10-second startup. I'm actually going to do my best to pull it up with a different tab here. Yeah, right now. Come on. Okay, there we go.
Oh.